Okay, good evening, everyone. So this is the Town of Monroe Board of Finance special meeting. And today is Thursday, April 9th, 2026, and today is 6 p.m. Please note that the meeting will be recorded and available on the town's website in accordance with Connecticut state law. Going to do roll call for the board. Catherine Stopper.
Present.
Steve Kirsch.
Present.
Dee Stalmack.
Present.
Samantha Spino.
Present.
And absent is Nick Sentimentes. Terry Rooney.
Here.
Ron Banofsky.
Present.
Heidi Mead. And Frank Duchess.
Present.
All right. So this is our second budget workshop where we're meeting with our town side departments. Is everybody all set to get started? Remember? Okay. We're going to start with planning and zoning. It's page 93 of the budget notebook.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my first, did you want to start with a summary for us?
Sure.
Okay.
So for the planning and zoning department budget, personnel wise, everything is staying the same as it has from last year. What are the main this is my first time being called to this meeting. What are the main highlights that you guys want?
So you can just high level. I really just want to follow up on some questions regarding the increase in the Connecticut Post stuff.
Yes, which we have
some
exciting updates potentially on that as well. Everything is generally staying the same as their needs with the exception of the noticing. We were able to cut a little bit from our office expenses. This year we're trending downward. We have a very environmentally friendly staff who really tries to reuse anything that we can find from papers and folders and things like that and not trying to use some things. So they've been doing an excellent job this year, really trying to keep that cost down. The first selectman and I had discussed if we were able to maybe even cut that a little bit more. And if there's an opportunity, which I think we could do maybe another $100, $200 if need be. We do have the increase in the noticings. In about a year and a half ago, the Voices had dropped the town of Monroe from their coverage area. That is where we were posting all of our legal notices. So the Planning and Zoning Commission, the Inland Wetland Commissions, and the Zoning Board of Appeals by state statutes requires a public hearing for our special exception permits, our variances, and our inland wetland applications that have a potential significant impact. What that means is we are required to notice the public hearing twice in the newspaper prior to the date of the public hearing. And then all of our decisions that we make at our meetings have to be posted in the newspaper as well. Those run us now in the CT Post several hundreds of dollars each time it gets run. It is almost a double increase from what it was when it was in the Voices. We've been able to track that now for almost an entire year of what that costs, and that has created the number that that is currently being shown on the budget.
Yeah. So just for the board's knowledge, so after the town council meeting, that's when I picked up on like what was happening with the posting. And I had emailed inquiring whether the Connecticut Post was open to kind of like a town rate card or negotiating something for budget purposes. So I'm interested to see like how that spanned.
So I talked to Hearst and they use a computer program to generate the cost of the notice. Okay. So I went to them and said, 5 years ago, you guys had a rate sheet. Nothing has been updated in 5 years. Can we have an updated rate sheet? They go, it's a computer program. They go, you have to send us the notice. I go, I understand that. But someone had to program the computer program with an algorithm. Is there someone I can talk to? No, just send us what you want and we'll get back to you. I'm like, well, can you just give me a contact information for a person that goes around? Okay. And they were like, no, it's the computer program. So they just refuse. And I'm the second time. My staff had done it before me. I was like, okay, let me try myself. I even said, I got to go in front of my town's board of finance. I have to go in front of town council. I have to give them something. And they just went, yeah, we don't have access to that information. You just have to send us something.
Okay, so based on the volume and the type of posts that you do you have an average range of what things cost
So
that you're
had-
using as your estimator?
Yeah, so I had sent a response to your email, which I'm not sure.
I don't think I ever got.
Okay. And what I had included in that is examples of when we do what I refer to as our public hearing notice.
Okay,
So if we only have one project being noticed for a public hearing, the value changes because it's by, I believe, again, no one can give me a rate sheet. I believe it's by line. That's kind of how we get our invoices. It says by line.
okay,
So those lines change depending on how long the description is. But I gave an example of one that is just one project being noticed, two runs in for the public hearing, and it's $754.
okay,
If we have more than one project, it goes up a little bit, but then it's kind of split amongst two. So
Okay.
if one project runs start to finish and you include, the notice in the newspaper, it's about $1,000 for a project. If that's the only thing being noticed. If it's more than one project, it ends up being somewhere around, $400, $500 for the public hearing, and then, another 195, about $200, per project. So it can range us anywhere from 400 to 800 for the public hearing, and then 200 to 250 for the notice. So it really is kind of a range based on if we luckily have more than one project, then it brings it down the overall cost. But unfortunately, if it's a weird month where we only have one item on the public hearing, it ends up being extraordinarily expensive.
okay. So you batch as much as you can.
We batch as much as we can, and we literally wait until the last possible moment to put it in so that we can put as many together as possible.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate those efficiencies, even though there's
It's not.
nothing we could do on the pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, if I can interject.
Yeah,
Originally, when the voices stopped it stopped allowing public notification from certain towns. Monroe was one of the towns, I believe Southbury. There was a multiple amount of towns that they stopped allowing those public notices. We looked into a multitude of many different newspapers that do have some subscriptions here in the area, and nobody was willing to do it. So we were stuck with the Connecticut Post, but we did get good news today from Tony Scott, HB 5289, which addressed this. It just passed the House. It changes the requirements and allows municipalities to post on town website and not have to go to a printed newspaper. So that's moved on to the Senate. This year, at this point, we have spent $25,047 as of 4/9/26. Now that's collectively amongst town hall, not just planning and zoning. So if this bill was to go through the Senate, I think we'd have a good chance of saving some money there. So that's good news in that area because it plagues us all the time. It really bothers us that we have to spend that amount of money. And that's all. So thank you.
So what would be the legislative calendar? Do you have any idea
When it would be in effect?
when it will go through?
It just went to the House today, so I don't.
If it gets
It's not
passed, so it would be
yeah.
October 1 of 2026.
Okay.
okay,
And it has been circulating, at least in the planning world, it has been circulating for years. And I know it was on our planning association for Connecticut, it was like our top priority in our legislation to focus on this year. So I do think a lot of people have really been trying to do the push this year.
But
So
it's not going to get through the legislative process before we have to put this budget.
correct,
No.
right.
correct.
We have to plan it. Yeah.
We have to plan with your numbers.
All right, well, thank you for all of your work on that. I appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry. Next up, we are doing fire, page 118. 123, I think it's where. Mhm. Mhm. We'll start with Monroe. Mhm. Yeah. Kevin. Do you want to give us first like a high level summary?
Yeah, no, I think it's relatively straightforward for this year on the operating budget. It's right at a 2% increase. Mostly just inflationary. We provided some breakout by category. There's even within a dozen or so categories, it's all moved plus or minus a couple $1,000s just based on fluctuations. We highlighted a few things. You know, we are seeing obviously the rate of inflation has slowed. It certainly hasn't gone down, but it's not what it was the last few years. That being said, certain things like insurance costs, repairs, small equipment and things like that are projected to go up. So we've incorporated that in the budget. So at least from the perspective of the controllable costs from the fire department, it's a 2% increase. Plus the budget centers that the DPW maintains, those are also pretty close to similar, about 2% or so. Utilities.
Okay.
Could I just interject? So
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
top line is what they budget, that 1.99%, and that's all of the
Yeah.
so
270.
the summary would be on page 123. So it's just
Right.
that top line, which is the 270. All the utilities are actually budgeted by DPW.
Okay.
Okay, just sorry.
So for the electricity, while we're here in natural gas, so there was 22% increase on the electricity, but then we went down on gas 16%.
Correct, and.
You're good with that?
Moment, yes, we've gone back and forth on utilities relentlessly, and
Okay.
I'm happy there. He's gonna speak to contingencies and such like that, but it calcs out where we should be appropriate.
Okay.
Depending on the other changes, change law and such like that, but it's outside of our purview.
Okay. Any other questions for? How are we with volunteer participation?
We're doing okay.
Yeah,
It's always additions and subtractions.
okay,
We continue to have people that join us, mostly younger people. We continue to have people that leave us for the right reasons, meaning for personal reasons. Like we've had members that have moved to South Carolina and Texas and for job purposes
okay,
and lower cost of living. So it's the thing that keeps me up every night is make sure we have enough people. But you know, we have a very dedicated group that helps keep things together. And we rely on our mutual aid partners for significant incidents when we need to do that from other
Right.
towns. So
okay. All right. I was just curious. Steady participation.
yes, yep.
Good.
No, we always have some new probationary members at any given time that are getting their training and going through things. And it's just
Okay,
it's a lot of additions and subtractions the last few years. So
On page 124, under the electric, under electricity, the first selectman removed $3,490 compared to what you all had put in.
So they don't budget that at all.
They don't, but
That's
okay,
budgeted.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's actually coming. Okay.
Yeah, and it's across the board, all three fire departments that.
Correct.
Yeah, so let me, all right, so let me just ask the general question. The department submitted 19.2, which would have been an increase. And the first selectman reduced that increase.
Pretty
And-
close to flat, really.
Yeah.
That
So
was-
is everybody comfortable with that? or
So
why?
that was based on, that was a reduction made at the first selectman level.
Right.
Myself and Chris were privy to that. We are gonna be, we tightened up the electric budgets, based on available information. Chris and I actually reviewed that yesterday with our, I don't know what you would call Jeff, consultant. We feel we're in a good spot. We are gonna ask for contingency on not only for electric, but gas and diesel and heating oil for various reasons. But we would like to do that kind of as part of contingency, not in each department.
That's fine. So that contingency you're referring to isn't yet reflected in
It
here?
is not.
Okay, so that's one of those items when I was asking about, can we get, the budget with some updated numbers? You were talking about some things that had to
Yes.
change. Is that one of the things?
Yeah, so my recommendation on the contingency would be to up assigned fund balance, so you're not actually impacting the mill rate at all, and you're just offsetting it.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want to discuss that tonight, later, or next week with other, once we get a little
I'm happy
further.
to do it later, but.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted the general question, because it's gonna come up on everyone.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it. That's it. for the-
And
there's no-
you good? All set. Okay, Stevenson.
Similar to what Kevin was saying, just minor increases. We're just over 2% increase, but we're in a good place. I can answer any questions.
I didn't have anything specific.
Yeah,
Very
that's the thing.
good. Yep. Okay, Stephanie.
So I also anticipate very minor fluctuations in expense of just under a 1.9% increase. But I do see an increase in our membership, which is an expense. And I've also increased the operational footprint of the entire department. I've added an auxiliary membership, which at this point is 11 members strong, and that's new this year. And they're supplementing the firefighters in support operations and fundraising and things like that. And I've also added a canine unit. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm the only fire department in the region that has a search and rescue fully trained canine and handler, which is getting fully volunteer. But expenses come along with it, kitting out the dog and equipment and communications, etc. But I have to say the department's doing really very well. The participation and call response and the amount of firefighters they're responding for call is also on the uptick.
Okay.
I have one question. It's on the building and ground maintenance. We'll count 153045. It's showing a $2,814 increase. And yet 50 will show that you haven't been spending what you had.
That would be on the DPW side. That isn't in my operating budget.
Okay,
So tied to that is directly related to septic pump outs and the oil water separator. The reason you see that increase is we're actually currently dealing with that over at EMS. We had previously budgeted $4,000, which was the expected expense. However, now we've bumped that up to $6,500 because that's the state bid, but that's the current price to pump out, clean, and jet all of the interior drain lines
yes.
and such for the equipment. So that's our current cost. That's predominantly what that increases to.
Is that every year, every other
It is,
year?
yeah,
It's
every
gonna be
year.
an every
It
year
is, yep,
thing going forward.
correct. Obviously, if we see the opportunity in which we can reduce that schedule or cycle, we will, but at the moment.
Okay, that explains, yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
That was my only question.
Anything for the water distribution? No.
That's the fire hydrant annual thing that we have to do that we've never liked.
Yep.
It goes up and we have no.
Pretty much that, yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many years I've heard that. So. Okay, yeah, Here. Here.
And fire marshal?
Where's he going? It's the.
Evening.
Good evening.
Minimal increase across the board. I'm showing a total of $3,200 total budget.
Mhm.
And that's mainly in equipment. Replacement camera for like $1,200. And the other is just regular inflation cost.
Okay.
I have a question, it's not exactly budget related, but there's the quarry operation on Garter Road. It's supposed to be over with a year ago, it was extended. Do you all have any involvement or periodic?
I have no active blasting permit currently for that quarry.
Okay,
They had one a few months ago, but it's only a 30-day window.
it's expired.
And, oh yeah, and they have to renew it every 30 days and they haven't.
Okay. Okay, I will say the monitoring has, because my house is the closest one on Applegate Lake,
Okay,
has worked well.
yeah, it's a third party.
Yeah, it is.
That does the
We
monitoring.
get the call, the person comes out, puts the monitor on, but that was a concern that.
Yeah, it was,
They had, and that's worked out well. We just want the whole project done.
I don't blame it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions? No? Good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not a lot, but.
All right, next, let's do EMS, 139.
So I know we're not gonna be doing capital until next week, but I have these guys here, do you address capital?
Do we want to do EMS first and then do capital?
Well, capital, I mean, just for fire department.
Okay.
Because, you know,
Yeah, we can, well, yeah. Okay.
I just
Hold
thought
on
it
one
might
second.
save them from a. Actually, I didn't think that. Give Heidi the credit.
Good job, Heidi.
For the plan, either way.
Where
So I think I can go to 185.
185.
Gotcha. Yeah, there we go.
And that's the budget for the current year. The 3 fire departments are right in the middle of the paper thing.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
How are we doing on truck replacements from last year? Are those all ordered in the works, being built?
Yes, the Monroe engine that was ordered is in the works. It should be done by the end of this year.
And my engine I submitted to Ron and to the First Selectman's office. So the engine that I would like to order, but I think this is delayed
Okay,
the process. Final numbers are in and push forward. Unfortunately, we're probably going to see an increase because time has lapsed.
okay.
has that gone to the town? That's been approved,
So
or has it?
I honestly don't know what's delaying that. I'll be honest with you. So if it's, so you guys selected the low bid, right?
Yes,
Um,
send a formal request to your office and to the First Selectman's office
okay,
with the contract.
yeah. So the contract it would just need to go to council. That's
Yes.
probably what's did,
I can resend it if you would like.
yeah, okay, so I would say.
You also have a paper copy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't submit that to the, it probably just needs to go to the town attorney for review.
Yeah.
So it's probably, that's probably.
My last communication with you was, okay, please forward it to the first selectman's office, so I did that.
Okay,
It was about 2-3 months ago.
okay, so that's, we'll have to follow up on that.
So the
Thank you.
bonding authorization has,
That bonding authorization
It's going-
was, that was a year ago.
that was a while ago.
Yeah, so that was so that was all 3 trucks, I believe.
We're only doing 2 of the 3 at this point. Kevin's is already in production. My request is in, and then Kevin has 1 more
Okay,
in there,
okay.
once the building's situated.
But
Now, the other thing, and we could follow up, the delay there could be it could be with the town attorney too. I mean, that's very possible. Because the bid was selected, so it's just a matter of the contract being approved.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure that where we are in the step, that the bonding is
Yeah,
long since done. Okay.
And the only project we have is refurbishing our brush truck, which we get the truck committee together right now. But that's very minor.
Okay.
And I
And,
repla-
well, when, excuse me, sorry. When would you be looking? at
That's in the
rework?
present year's budget, so that was approved back year.
Oh.
Yeah.
and I have a replacement Tahoe that should be in on the last leg of approval, correct? Waiting for bonding.
that would be going up for approval this year, and nothing's
Okay.
gone forward at this point. Yeah,
Okay.
so. But that is correct.
This year between now and.
Correct.
And the third
Is
is
the
the
ladder.
ladder, right?
Yep.
Okay. And the brush truck. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, now let's do EMS, so 139.
Energy efficient. You know, when you're ready.
Okay, hang on. Okay, go ahead, Craig.
Alrighty,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for EMS, bulk of our increase is contractual. You know, the key contractual drivers for us are our paramedic and EMT staffing partner. We have a billing agency, you know, some maintenance contract items. So those are just in various stages of the multi-year contract. So they're just built-in escalators. Probably the only other notable, and then see what questions you have. We did increase the building maintenance line. That was based on actual experience over the past year. We have seen just, you know, fairly significant, you know, generator HVAC type repairs. And so wanted to bring that in line a little bit more with what we would expect over the coming year instead of exceeding that budget. So happy to take questions or go into
So my
more detail.
question on the contract.
Yeah.
Where are you in the life cycle of the contract?
Yeah, the 2 biggest ones, which would be Val EMS and our billing company. In this new budget year coming up, that'll be year 2 of a 3-year contract for both. Yeah. So currently in the first year of those renegotiated deals.
And the Valley EMS, that was the company that we had a meeting about a couple of years ago.
Most likely, yeah, they've been our long-term partner.
Okay.
So it would have been them. So they provide our paramedic vehicle, equipment and supplies, all the medications and so forth, and our paid EMT staffing as
Okay.
well.
And do we have a split between those 2 contracts?
We do. Yeah, it's if you go into contracted services, sorry, I don't have the page, page 145. You'll see VEMS ALS and VEMS BLS. BLS is EMT or basic life support, and ALS is advanced life support or paramedic. And that includes the vehicle expense as well, vehicle and equipment. They actually own the paramedic fly cars.
Okay,
Even though
I
it's
remember
in our-
that.
Yeah,
They-
it's in our
yeah.
statement. Yeah. We did, as you may remember, we did move to a new billing company, which addressed a lot of challenges we had been having. So we're in currently year one of that. Their fees are just simply a percentage of actual revenue collected. So we do anticipate, and we've modeled, continued increase in collections, just frankly, like the errors have gone away, much more due diligent follow-up. So while their cost is going up, that also means we're bringing in more revenues.
Do you know what our collection rate is?
I don't have that offhand. Heidi, do you? We may have to take that as. Oh, no, sorry, that's the fee we pay them. Is that what, I don't know if that's what you were asking. We pay them 0.5% of revenue in the second year of contract,
Okay.
but I don't.
But our collection of
Collection
Bill.
rate.
We're at about 600K year to date. I don't have the percentage like up because it's always it's a tough thing because it's what does insurance pay? People that don't have insurance, Medicare, Medicaid pays lower rates.
Do we have a significant number that don't pay for whatever?
We have it's all over the board, when someone's on Medicare or Medicaid, the reimbursement rates are federally mandated and they're low. Private insurance will pay the most, but you also could get into situations where an insurance company doesn't view it as an emergency. They may decide not to pay. And then it goes to trying to collect from the individual and that type of thing. So it's and there's a big lag time too. So, you have to look at aging and where things are. We get all the reporting on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it just like you collect taxes in town and age out and get to a point where things are uncollectible.
Right.
And that kind of.
Yeah, that all runs through the finance department. We EMS don't write off anything on our own or anything like that, but hardships and any, writing off of debt is through finance. Yeah.
Okay. So the third party billing, they help with the insurance billing? Have
They
you seen
do.
an improvement there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and honestly, there's a couple aspects. One, I think we're way more accurate, and how you can chime in too.
Yeah.
Getting better information from communication
Yeah.
and greater incentives to collect.
Yeah, and the other, and honestly, we were missing opportunities and it's just about following the rules and making sure insurance is getting billed and things like that. But the other thing is it was causing a lot of extra work for Heidi, for us, chasing things down, issues,
Less
incorrect things.
slippage. Right.
So that has gone away. They're really good.
That's what you had said.
Yeah.
When you brought the issue to us.
Exactly. So that's actually lightened our load. We can work on other stuff that's more important. So.
Okay.
Perfect.
So it's good.
What was your question? Where collections are to date?
Collection rate,
We're
yeah.
at like 590 for.
Okay. And what's been billed out?
So last year we were. I'd have to, so
That's okay.
we'd have to
That's
look
okay.
at the reports for that. I mean, there's probably, my guess is receivables are typically, my guess probably a couple $100,000.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lag in the,
Yeah.
when we receive it because of the insurance companies, but.
Right. Okay.
So we can't base it off of fiscal year because there's stuff from back year still outstanding,
There is.
if I'm understanding that
Yeah.
correctly. Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
I did have one question. Sorry, just while we're on it, you mentioned on the septic, pump out, all that. We had increased, to 5250 for oil water separator, pump out, jetting and septic. We had septic pumped just a month or two ago. Do you feel like that's still a good number then for next year? You mentioned that.
I mean, if you're, the 6,500 is that's the current number you're trying to go scrap together. So if that's just the pump out, then I would say you're probably light in that aspect because of your septic's not included in that number. So
do you think that 5250?
well, I mean, in septic tank, how often do you building, how much activity do you have going on in it, and issues? I'd have to see what your costs were, but you might be a little light there.
So do you think that goes up to 6 even?
What's your number right now?
5250.
Sorry,
5250.
so 5250, you need at least 6,500 to chase the tank and the drains again, at least without any type of escalation.
Okay.
So
I don't see
I don't see-
50.
Sorry, so it's under EMS building maintenance on 145. It's the last line item in that section. So maybe I'll just put that out to the board here if we should increase that a little bit.
I'd have to see what your pump, let's say your pump outs, say 400, it's probably a little heavy, but 400 and plus whatever the delta is to get you to 6,500, will probably break you even without any level of escalation in.
Okay,
So
should we just take that as a follow-up to confirm back? I don't know how you want to work that or
Yeah,
maybe I can,
yeah, we can circle back.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only question I had. Thank you.
So just pull whatever your past septic equipment and look at that and look at the differential and see where.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we had to have septic pumped every year or like every.
It's best to, I mean, you had your pumps and the grinders and stuff like that, so it's probably best to do that. It's recommended, but then again, it comes down to how often are you, fully equipping the building. And you may be able to, so that's where, it just looks different on paper.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, no problem.
I recommend doing it once a year just to be sure anyways.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you then, Chris. Thanks.
all right, great,
All
thank
right,
you, Craig.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do Public Works 147.
Question 148 is the funding of Pacific. The road mile repaired or paid, 8.83.
Correct.
I know you've got the new machine, you're doing those, you said you're not doing whole roads.
Correct.
Are you adding those sections that you do up and in your feet, turning into a mile?
Yep.
Okay. And then that's your repair, I assume,
Correct.
and the paving is the outside company doing.
Correct. The long lines are done by a contractor.
Okay.
And the linear feet, is that measured, or do you do the lifts, or is it are these just patchings, overlays? Is that like 1 or 2 lifts?
With what we're doing in-house, there can be a little bit of both. Typically, it's an overlay in a section, so let's say 1 lift.
Okay, and
If
is
we
that?
need to, we can do more, and we have done that in other sections. It just
Mhm.
depends on what's
It's
necessary.
the center lane measurement.
Yeah, center lane mile is what we look at.
Okay, and is it by like each layer you would count as
No.
1 and then 2?
But we would look at
Okay,
it
total.
in total.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the only way you'd see that differential is if you're looking at cubic yards.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah, that would be.
That would be the only
Correct.
statistic that would
Mhm.
normalize.
I have a question. What's with all the catch basins at DPW?
We're using them, we're replacing them.
That's great.
Mhm.
I drove by the other day, well, like a month ago, but I saw the big pile of them there and I said, oh, you guys must have a lot of work going down the pipe.
We do, when we pave the long lines, we
Mhm.
change out all the drainage.
It's great.
That's what happens,
Mhm.
so the roads that we pave with the outside contractor,
Mm-hmm.
all the drainage is changed out, all the metal's taken out of the ground, which is corrugated metal pipe, which
Right.
is just rotten.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all HDPE, which is plastic pipe we put in,
All right,
which
that's
will,
great.
at least as far as I see, it'll last for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
The normal course of business is to replace the catch basins themselves.
Tops. We replace the tops, because the tops are what gets the beating.
Correct.
It's what's under them is the structure, so we will replace we'll repair the structure if need be.
Correct.
And if it's really bad,
If
we'll
need be,
replace it.
depends on it's like in the situation.
Okay. Thank you.
I did want to know where everything stands with snow.
Snow, yeah.
We're not getting anymore.
Are you?
Knowing
No, let's not spoil this.
it's not.
Please. So we've looked at this extensively
Yeah.
and it,
I want to just make sure that we are, what we're budgeting is
So this year being a completely different year, I mean, we couldn't have bought a weekday storm if we. It was always like a Sunday.
Right.
So that clearly by contract predicates a completely different aspect of pay rate.
Right.
So, but right now, we're sitting on the snow overtime line is 85,348.41 over. Okay. But with still some money available in all of the 3 budget lines under snow removal, we're sitting negative 52,555. However, we also still have about 28,500 in encumbered funds, which we've been talking between Ron and Terry and I. We expect to liquidate all of that. So really at the end of the day, we'd be looking at roughly about 24-ish thousand negative in that account.
Okay.
But one of the other components that we need to do is, because this was such a glorious year, we've replenished our salt in our main bin. So we're stocked up and full. However, due to all the issues I'm sure you've heard throughout the media and the news, just the deliveries were horrendous. We are very fortunate enough, and Bill did an amazing job with the guys, and Shane just managing that. We went into our reserve bin. We need to refill that reserve bin. If we did not have that this year, we would have had significant serious, we would have run out of salt without any other way to say.
So when is the optimal time to do that?
Immediately now, because I can tell you what that price is going to be. It's not going to have any escalation tied to it, which is what the new contract will be. I'm sure it will be that way based on the way the volatility of the world is and the way prices are going. I can tell you what that pricing will be. And if we get all the salt we need, which is 1,000 tons to replenish that reserve, and the tarp we need, which is required by DEP and follows suit with our industrial stormwater permit down in our yard, we're looking at $81,820.
And are you looking to do that before the end of this fiscal year?
We would have to, because the contract ends June 30th that we have with the state to lock in that purchase price.
Okay.
And we still have provisions within the language of our contract, because if you buy over a certain percentage, which we haven't, we need to at least buy half, which we've clearly bought that. But we're within our contract limits. We can buy an additional 1,000 tons.
Okay. Okay.
So you've got to buy that between now and the end of June.
Yep.
And you think you've got money for that?
So what we would tap is the emergency disaster relief fund.
Because it was catastrophic.
The amount of snow this winter and the timing of the storm.
That storm was catastrophic.
But it wasn't worse, which we've seen, but thankfully it was.
Is tapping that fund, does that require a formal action?
So that
by this
would,
body?
before year end, it would, yes.
We'd have to appropriate it, right?
So, I mean, this is the way, if we can't cover it within the budget, that's how we would look to cover it.
Okay. So that's once all the POs are closed, let's see how much we have.
Exactly.
Well,
Okay.
or at least until you've encumbered, because your PO can't be closed until after June 30th.
Right.
So you have to make a decision before.
Well, when I say year end, could that transfer happen after year end and be effective June 30th? Absolutely. We've done year end transfers into October before the books are formally closed.
As long as they purchase it.
Yes. Yeah, it would have to be encumbered. We'll have to make the purchase either, we know, I think we spoke with, I believe we spoke previously with this board regarding that.
We talked a couple months ago about the salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be, myself, the first selectman and Chris have discussed it. And replenishing the reserve makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
Great. So if we can't cover it, the first option would be to cover it if there's surplus elsewhere within the budget.
Okay.
The emergency disaster relief fund, I can look it up. FEMA money went in there. It's actually in excess of the 600,000. You guys had transferred, money in there earlier this fiscal
Yeah.
year, I believe. And I believe it's in excess of 600.
Mhm.
Okay, which you only need 82,000.
Correct.
Okay.
What was our snow total for this year?
Total inches of snow or salt used?
Inches of snow?
I'll be honest with you, I have that report. I don't have that
Okay,
metric off the top of my head.
Okay.
Sorry, I can certainly.
I know we went over 30 on that last storm because
Oh,
Yeah.
that's our condo contract limit.
I know we had about
Yeah.
25 storms and when I reported to council, I think we were at 23 or 25 storms, 9 of which were Sunday events. So,
Okay,
and then literally following that meeting was another weekend. So just couldn't
crazy.
get out of our own way.
Do you think you can get that for us just because
Snow
we
total?
don't know? Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know if we're gonna have the same amount of snow next year.
Nobody does.
Yeah, nobody knows.
No one
And
does,
we
not even the
project on
homeowner.
number of storms and we project on the tons we use. Our salt is usually in good standing. We just had delivery issues, which was the biggest kind of headache amongst all of it. So agreed. And, we look at the overtime and that's tied to a 3 or 5 year trend.
Right,
And not having that become a fiscal impact to the taxpayers, we have an additional relief fund. So we have a backstop, a backfall onto it, so thank you. It's done well. So we have something that we can go to should we need to.
okay, thank you.
Appreciate that support.
Heidi looked up the emergency disaster. It's about 625,000
That we have there.
that we have.
Okay.
Couple questions while you're looking.
Sure.
Is the Pepper Street project done?
It is not currently done. We are wrapping things up. The engineering consultant is tying. I know, the engineering consultant is tying, but so it's tied to certain things where we actually have a DOT component that they need to rectify out on Pepper Street, right on 25 itself, which we've gotten them to commit to. They're going to, from our most recent conversation, they're going to rectify one thing, which kind of does the light, but they are working on tabulating what's remaining and working toward closing out that project. Correct.
Mr. First Selectman, do we have any outstanding legal issues with the contractor?
No, 0.
We don't. It's all been resolved. Okay,
It's all been resolved.
terrific. Good. Wrap it up and.
I hear you.
I think right now it's just more paperwork issues with the
Correct.
state.
Yeah, timelines, different extensions so that we can work through closure and such like that for closing out the project.
Okay.
As you know, Steve, we did have legal issues, but we worked very diligently. Chris helped me, the town attorney, as well as James DeMayo. We have multiple meetings, and we came to a peaceful resolve. It was about a year ago now.
Okay.
Imagine.
Yeah, I hadn't heard. Yes, I
There was
would.
some extremely diligent and intense negotiations in that process. A little bit of tough love from the town to the contractors, but we got it over the finish line.
I'm very happy to hear that, and I had a follow-up question, which was, do we have money set aside for legal? If your answer had been the other way.
I did have a question on the tree operating. Are we anticipating doing a lot more tree work this year?
We are, but I think what you see is the differential in the numbers, right?
Yeah.
From last year to this year. So what's missing from all of this
Yeah.
is the Town Aid Road, which was $93,000 last fiscal year. So therefore, when you see, if you look more in the detail versus the summary,
Yeah.
you'll see that's why that offset's there.
Yep.
So
I saw that. That was a question actually. Somebody posted online.
and even at the global level, if you look at what our overall public work and sanitation is, it's like 3.5 or something like that, 357,000. Town Aid Road in and of itself last year, we're fairly flat on the budget, less some utilities. We dropped a little bit on gas. or fuels, I should say. But in general, last year we had $1.1 million in Town Aid Road to help offset the expenditures in the budget, which again is fairly flat. This year, we only have 637,000 or 673 something. So clearly there's a $500,000 differential there. So,
Makes sense.
we've done well to drop whatever we can and kind of keep things where they are without impacting any level of service.
So you're saying this year went down or?
Right, we just had a residual of funding. We had a residual of funding into last year's Town Aid Road. So we had more money last year.
We had unspent funds from prior first area.
So what do we have going in for this budget? What do we have going into July?
6 change is what they're.
For Town Aid Road.
Yes.
So we're anticipating, we're anticipating utilizing, all of what we currently have. At 637 should be what we get next year.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Currently, I think we're at 380. What's available. I think Chris will work through most of that this year.
Yeah, that's not it.
Right, okay.
Bill can spend that easy.
I can spend it right now.
I just did.
Seriously. I remember when the budget used to be like 100,000 and you'd make one call and it's gone.
Right.
It was
Oh, my gosh.
quite significant.
The new HydroCAD, does that have to do with the requirement that you now have to map all of the drains and bridges in town?
So the HydroCAD allows the engineer to do basically water calculations.
Okay.
In order to determine something for us internally, but also review some calculations for building permits and such that come through.
Okay.
So it allows him to be able to provide that end instead of having going out to an on-site consultant.
Oh, okay. And is that a savings for us?
In a sense it is, but the cost in and of itself kind of sets it so it makes it a little flat at the moment. I mean,
Okay.
projected out, yeah.
It's
Yeah, over
probably a
time,
time saver though.
100%.
Okay, great.
And are we to have another road study before your cycle?
It would be, it wouldn't be this fiscal, it would be the next fiscal year. So that's our
Well,
intention.
the end of this calendar.
Well, yeah, we would be, but we would add it
This
into,
budget, so I
it
mean,
wouldn't be in this budget, it would be in the next.
We have a new vendor for that though, right?
We will pursue that this year to do it.
Okay.
yeah,
Correct.
I was gonna ask these questions and now I'm confused.
Okay.
To be perfectly blunt. Our 4-year cycle, this is calendar year 26. The last study was done in December of 22. 4 years means we should be doing it in December of this year, which means it falls into this budget that we're talking about.
Right, we're doing it next year. We're doing it, yeah.
Sorry. It's gonna
So
be.
we're not gonna do it
Where?
this calendar.
No, not in this, not in
Not
this.
this fiscal year. We'll do it in next fiscal, it'll be the next year's. We still have to pick somebody, Steve. We have to look at this. I'm not going, we're not
Okay,
just
so
jumping
my-
into it. And we have.
So my question was, where are you in an RFP process? Because we obviously have known we're not using the same vendor.
Yes.
So we've been looking at vendors. Yeah, we've been looking at vendors and people that do it. There's many different ways that I've found that people want to do it. Some people want to give you the equipment and put it on your vehicle and you drive around. That's not what I'm looking for. Basically what VHB did, but doing it the right way, giving us the right numbers. And, be honest with you, it's costly. So I'm trying to find the best bang for our buck and I'm talking to a few different people. And, it takes time.
Are you looking at electronic?
Where would that be?
I don't know what they're using. I mean, I'm not.
Camera-based system.
It's not off the table. We haven't really knocked that down.
Excuse me, Ron, where would that be? Would that be a capital expenditure? A road study?
No, typically it wouldn't fall at that level.
Okay.
Fall into our regular, had it previously just our regular paving.
Okay, all right.
Which is why I'm trying to figure out if it was in here, how much is in this.
No, we had spoken months ago and even at the council level and before we even got my budget prep that it was not going to be in the upcoming fiscal year. It's going to be so.
Okay. And what's the estimated cost on that?
So 60,000,
Well,
or 50 or
You know,
something?
like, again, I said it depends.
That
on
was,
what
it was
what
4
year.
years ago.
So, yeah, you're.
So 60 to 100.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good enough for,
Have you,
For
have you all,
placeholder, that's perfect.
absolutely.
have you all talked to CCM?
We always speak with CCM.
CCM partners with a company out of Massachusetts?
We
You
are,
know that?
we are familiar with that.
Okay.
Mhm.
But Steve, I want to do my due diligence. I don't want what happened last time, so we're going straight forward, because I know you're gonna study this. You're gonna have me to task on it, and you're gonna be questioning up these.
I'm gonna question you, and you've had 4 years to study it, so you and I can have a conversation offline.
We'll talk offline, absolutely. Don't worry.
It needs to be done because the data you've got now is horrible, and you know it, I know it. you've all admitted to it,
And that's
so
why,
there's no
and that's
disagreement.
further reason why it
Okay.
needs due
Oh, no.
diligence.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that it isn't going to be done in this calendar. Okay.
Is there any assistance that you would need to get that moving for this year?
No, it's not something we, like I said, we're not looking to do that this year. We want to get another round of our own paving, and get another round of our in-house paving, and that's where we want to be. For getting the roads evaluated. We have a big project that's working out on Old Zora, so it's our benefit.
We have Old Zora, we have Cross Hill Road.
So all your roads for this year are identified.
We just have to get funding in that sense. I mean, we have some big projects that are going on already, absolutely.
Right.
That are slated for it. Was it?
There's also Judd Road.
Yeah, that's not tied to this
Yeah,
specifically, but
Yeah.
it's still, if we get an overrun or something,
So you can get
funding
a
sources.
list of the roads you're planning on doing this year, or the contractor planning on doing? Because obviously the ones that.
We can talk
Okay.
offline. We can talk about it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Good.
Recycling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have a comment, and somewhere in here I read that there's more people, so there are more pickups, so it's more profitable. But how much of this increase is, can you bifurcate it for the number of new residents versus the kind of.
So really what happens every year, the way we look at it, I'd have to have my other budget to tell you what our increase was for residential count. But I have a projection in there of tied rates per household times 12 months times the number of residents. So that's contracted, we're obligated to as such. And again, I wish I could look back. I feel like last fiscal was the same cost per house, but the units went up because we've had additional building lots come in. We have additional smaller subdivisions come in. We are obliged and required by law to provide solid waste. And we can keep it as solid waste is done by private haulers, but we have the facility, we have to offer, so, but in recycling in and of itself, it's really driven by the household, the unit.
And so is it something that fluctuates, like you're reporting to them and then they just bill you for what they're delivering, or there's a minimum contract?
So we go through, we pull those unit numbers from the town clerk's office. So if you're registered on as a residential dwelling and an apartment has a permit in a residential dwelling, that increases those numbers. We get that from the assessor's office in communication on it specifically. We project, and I have a little bit of an increase based on trend percentage in here because we'll catch someone, we have to update our numbers every December. So we can have a couple of houses or such populate, become viable residentials throughout that time. So.
What are the 2 positions that were added last year?
Maintainer positions.
Okay, thank you. Grade 1, grade 2, or 3?
Grade 2, yeah.
Okay,
Entry level, if you will, for the highway side.
okay, thank you.
Talk to me about where you guys are on the inspection of the storm sewers and how many people do you have doing it? Is it a one-person job, two-person, how many?
Typically a one-person job.
Out doing this,
Um,
you have an end date to. get it
Well,
done?
we don't specifically have an end date because it does tie into, where we are for staffing, who's out and what have you. So it's not like that position is constantly 100% doing that job with the new staff on. We try to get to it as much as possible, but at the moment, we were just talking about this, we're somewhere around 30% done with the roads we have. So that's roughly where we are at this point.
So when you say 30%,
And that's just based on projection of mile of road we paved since we had the camera, and looking at the years looking forward to here. I know you wanna get the whole thing done, but it's just cost prohibitive in the sense of having an outside contractor come in to do it. We've already identified multiple times it is multiple $millions.
I don't think it's not just Steve that wants to get it done. We've been talking about this big project for 3 years now that I know of.
Right.
So it's just, I understand the staffing constraints and we are here to help you. So if you need more funding, this is, we want to have those conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
so I mean, I've got two issues. One is if we're gonna do it in-house, fine, let's just get it done. But let me go back to the 30%, because that's not the number I never heard. That's 30% of our center lane miles.
Correct.
Because I was going to ask you, you
Having
have,
a pipe or something.
well, no, we have roughly 522 road segments, right, in terms of the survey of the condition of the asphalt.
Okay.
It's basically around 522. And I was wondering, how many sections have we done? I don't remember how many named roads we have, but you're giving me.
So I'm looking at it globally on roughly 136 or so miles of road, what we paved, and that's what I've tabulated our calculations backward from. So camera over a number of years, how many roads we've done since then. We know we've cameraed about probably 85% of those roads. So that's where that projection comes from. But if we can pursue that, we can do it. I know we've discussed it previously, and even when other contractors have been up and spoken, whether it be council or finance, it's a multiple $1 million deal to have the roads done and camera, not just evaluated and looked at with a report. We want cameras so we know what we're looking at. So that cost is significant. And when we look at our capital expenditures and what the typical grab is a year being, 5 million, that's part of the reason why we've backed off that as well, because, that's what 60% of what the typical capital grab is. So.
No, okay, so doing it in-house is great. If we can get it.
House paving is good.
If we can get
It's
it,
worked out fantastic.
if we can get it done, my concern, once we start talking dollars, is we are not looking at the cost of delay of doing the roads. Asphalt is going up higher than the rate of inflation. It has been for years. VHB came in and told this town that in 2019 after the 2018 study. My question is, and I completely agree with Chris, it's a whole lot more expensive to hire someone. But if I could get all of my roads done, and then I could start worrying about, now I've got everything camera. Now I can go out and do whichever roads I want, whether I do it in-house or whether I do it with a contractor, and I can do it sooner rather than later. There's an opportunity cost.
I just can't really hear you down there.
I'm sorry.
I want to listen.
I don't like to yell because I don't.
No, it's okay.
I mean, what Steve is saying, it does make financial sense.
I mean, I don't know whether the numbers have been run,
Yeah.
right, in terms of what's the opportunity cost that we're losing. So if you had, let's just say we cameraed ourselves 10 miles of road tomorrow, and you knew what the answer was.
Hypothetical.
Then you could turn around if we wanted to bond or whatever and buy asphalt tomorrow and get the contractor in at whatever today's rate is. if you do those same 10 miles of cameraing over the next 10 years, and obviously I'm exaggerating, by the time you get to paving.
Which I
those
can
roads-
exaggerate.
But I'm using it as an example.
No, but you know.
Right, you will end up paying a lot more for that asphalt down the road, that's all. And I don't know that we've ever done that.
Well, and
analysis.
tied to that too, because we've discussed it, right? We're at X number of dollars where we typically are roughly $2 million, 2.5 now for what we do in-house, right? We're tapped at that, but we're doing the drainage. So we are stretching that dollar beyond where it can be stretched. Once you start looking at more, which is the conversation here, now you look at a depreciation in production because you have a cost increase that's roughly, now I would say it's 40 to 50% because who's going to do the drainage, right? So we have to bring a contractor in to do that drainage. So that's where now you have to just look at those cost projections. You're not going to get the production you're getting now, which fine, just want to make sure you understand that. And that's what that looks like on top of doing all the drainage and doing everything else.
I agree.
I think also
And I think you've got all of the pieces identified, you know where these costs are. I don't know or have a good feel that it's ever been analyzed out in terms of the big picture, in terms of the what if we do X versus what if we do Y. We talk about doing it in-house versus paying someone, got it. We talk about how many, I guess it's linear feet of pipe you can install. That needs to go.
But it also ties back to the whole big picture too, is where does the capital, where would you want the capital expenditures to be on an annual basis?
I think there's also a big factor that we forget, and it's weather. You lose 2 months of weather, which we did the first season I was here. We lost two. Last year, I think we lost April and May. And sometimes it rains into June. That is a large factor. So we don't live in the Carolinas. We don't live in Florida. No, this is a factor that's lost during this argument every single year. And I just want to make it clear. When last year we had 2 years of rain, the year before we had where you can see very clearly. And when that happens, you lose time. Our paving window is it's slim. It's very short. So you lose 2 months. Year after year after year of bad weather, that is a factor in getting the work done. It's never really spoken about. And there's a difference between looking at a spreadsheet and understanding how this stuff goes financially and planning. There's also real life. And real life is when it rains for months on end, you lose, valuable time. That's why doing the paving program is very helpful because we can get up and running the next day. If it's raining, we can go out there and we can get something done. Wherein if you had a contractor doing all our roads, you would be subject to their schedules. And if it rained, we would wait, okay, we can't get to you for 2 more weeks now. This is really for me where the paving program really comes into play. We can actually hit the ground and still get work done even with.
And I agree. I'm not.
I just want to bring that in because that is an enormous factor when it comes to paving, even with potholes and repair. If you have a couple days of rain, you can't go out there and repair. The stuff doesn't stick. We have people that complain about it. I understand. I drive these roads. It bothers me. But I also know, but I also know that pothole, it's wet and you fill it. Somebody drives over it. The asphalt comes up, sticks to their car. We got a whole nother thing and we're going to Kerma, the insurance company for it, right? Because once we touch it, we own it. But it's just something that we always need to consider that we live in New England. And that rain could be a big factor in the progress of, so like this season, we're having great weather. We're getting a really good jump on stuff. Old Zor Road has started, Cross Hill Road is starting, potholes are getting filled, but had there been rain, all of that stuff would be frozen.
So where I'm at is if you told me that you could devote one person 3 days a week and we could get all of the storm drains scope by the end of the year, I would be happy because that is the number one from a project management standpoint. Forget everything else. We've all agreed for years, nothing gets done on the roads until they're inspected underneath.
Yeah, you have to.
So from a project management.
And the reason why you have to.
Need to get that done.
And the reason why you have to do that, Steve, is because they used that metal pipe years ago and it's integrated. That's why.
There is no debate. We are all in sync.
Yeah.
I think what I know what I'm saying. and I've-
Yeah, no,
and
no,
I've gotten
I'm
some
following you
support.
100%.
Is that we want to have the town in a position to do more. Then, as Chris says, then it's up to us to figure out how to get more money. But right now, as both of these gentlemen have said to us previous, to the town council, to the strategic planning committee, they can't really do much more. We can't throw money at them now. Right? So it's not even a question of they're ready to do more, or we can go hire company X to, do more to jack it up, because we don't have the answers to the very first step in the process. That's where my complaint is, that we've been looking and scoping roads since 2014.
Right, so Steve,
Well, 2017.
let me try to some light on this.
Okay.
Okay, 85% of the roads we have are corrugated metal pipe. Okay,
85%?
roughly, don't write this down, I'm projecting.
So I'm confused,
So,
because I've never heard
because-
a number before.
Well, I'm,
That's
by what I'm saying, in the last 12 years that I've been.
That's not an exaggeration, though, is it? 85%?
Fine, I'll
I'm
take
saying it's an
75.
approximation because I'm looking at what we've done and the roads we've done. Now, we have corrugated metal pipe that was put in back in the 70s, and that was the pipe of choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go out there and we're gonna scope these pipes. You want them all done. At what is the end result to this? So we go out and we scope them. I go out there and I have my guy spend a year and a half scoping all these pipes. Now, what do you want me to do with that information?
So now you can come back to us and say, okay, I've got the scoping done.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can tell you how much the pipe is gonna cost. I can tell you how much time it's gonna take for us to do it in-house.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I can go out and get a price to have your labor augmented by a vendor,
You mean bring a contractor into it?
contractor.
All right, Steve, I'm gonna just stop you there because I am doing Old Zor that way. Because Old Zor is a long road and I'm having a contractor actually come in and do the drainage.
Okay.
What are you thinking? Roughly.
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea
All
what
right,
it costs.
I am supplying the pipe. I am supplying the catch basin tops. The best price I was able to get was $712,000.
We couldn't even get a
If
contractor
you-
the
and-
first
and I-
time around.
And
We put
nobody
it out to
responded.
bid. We put it out to bid and didn't even
So-
get a contractor,
so-
Steve.
I
So
have
this is
in-house
These
force.
are the types of things that we need to be having conversations
That's why
about
I'm-
more regularly, because
Yeah.
this is getting a little heated and it.
No, it's not. I don't need to read it. I can-
No, I know, but these are big conversations that we have every year, and we come to the point where we're all kind of having aha moments and, oh, I understand why this is the way it is. But if you're talking, like I just heard you say $715,000, right?
712.
Okay, fine. Then we will plan for that when we do our capital.
Right, but this is.
But that's the point
We
of
do
us
these-
knowing
right,
this
what I'm saying is
information.
this is something that we do in-house.
Right.
So I'm saying if we're gonna pave.
2 months.
Huh?
It's 2 months.
Yeah,
How
so,
long-
but if we're gonna do
You
this,
said 2 months.
it's about 2 miles.
About, yeah.
So if we're gonna do this, like we would do this in-house, we plan for it and we do it. I'm saying it's basically more financially prudent for us to do it in-house and we get a better bang for our buck, let's call it, to do it this way.
I don't.
No,
No, I don't think we are at all.
No, we're just trying to paint a picture that.
But you have a balance, significant balance to what, we pave this, we do this much drainage and we pave these many roads. It's just the way, it's the way it works. I mean, I've been doing this for 46 years. And that's the way I see every municipality that I've ever seen do it. And where I came from, that's the way it was done.
And what is
So-
the hesitation? So.
Well, so the hesitation is.
Hesitation is money.
Right? Because that's something that like it's pre-work. Pre-work you gotta do before you do any of the actual road work, right?
Mhm.
So I guess I'm just not understanding why, I mean, like, let's pretend you've got money, let me give you the money. What is what's the thing that's stopping us from
We have
doing all of that?
one employee does he's the video.
Okay,
that he does. And he doesn't do it full time. We give him the roads we want to do,
Mhm.
the roads we want looked at. We use the road rating system and say, hey, here's the roads we want you to look at. He goes out and does it. When he gets done with that, he goes and works on the paving crew or works on the drainage crew or flags, or depending on what is the need.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that means we're gonna have to take one or two guys away and camera all these pipes and have it. And like I said, it's not the way the industry does it now. I could change and we could do it that way, but it just doesn't, you camera the pipes you need. And then you pave the roads after the drainage is done, and we know what it is.
and is there a risk, let's say we do it all now, you're not just redo the camera out. You're not gonna get to 100% of the roads by another year, right? Is there, like, how quickly do these things deteriorate, right? So if we say, okay, this one drain pipe is like, you know.
We'd love to be able to tell you that, but
And then.
there's so many different dynamics that associate to
Where
it.
you're like gonna have to rescope it again anyways, because now it's been 5 years since.
Yes,
So-
you definitely would have.
Okay, so maybe it's
Definitely
more
would
like a, yeah, so.
So like I'm saying, these pipes could deteriorate within a year depending on, let's say, I'll tell you what we're gonna find now, because of the amount of salt that was used and we put down, you're gonna see a lot more deterioration in these pipes.
Right.
And that's the problem.
And I think the biggest thing isn't that, we don't agree with the law. The biggest thing is really understanding
How it
the
works.
dollar value you're really talking about here. Because we're not gonna get a contract.
Without that plan.
Well, but that's where, when we look, if you wanna do, if we get 5 miles of road in-house, right? Between your $2.5 million of road, and now you add, say you're adding 50% of that because of drainage, right? Because you're gonna have to bring a contractor in. So now you're only looking at 2 miles of road. So now if you're 2.5 for 2, right? On top of that, you have to do all of your drainage evaluation, and we've got that benchmarked at a multiple $1 million level. That's not gonna be, that will take time, but I guess the biggest thing is, can you make that fit to your capital expenditures is what the real question is. Because that's, I don't say hesitation, but you're talking numbers that are virtually doubling to maybe tripling your capital expenditure.
But that's what we want to see. Those are the numbers that we want to know. We want to know that so that we're not coming to you asking you these questions if it's completely unreasonable or out of the realm of possibility for this year.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
go,
that's why we're giving you these numbers verbally versus running down that road. We've discussed it, and that's where we are. That's what those numbers are. We've had projections from experts saying you're in multiple $1 million level. We already know what our production is in-house, mind you, too. And then what the cost increase, we looked at that previously because we had an outside contractor performing the drainage work for us. We backed off and took it in-house because we can stretch the dollar. And at that time, generally it's like 35% to 40% was what the markup was for drainage by a contractor. So we took that in-house, we were able to increase our productivity, but now if we want to keep where we are, so keep 2 million a year, 1.5 million and whatever have you. And then you want to do more roads on top, your productivity's down, but tied to that as well, you're gonna have to increase the funding to have it at some sort of production level. But then
And
you're also
staffing.
gonna, I'm sorry?
And staffing.
And staffing, or, yes, and then relevant to that, you still, on top of that, need to get your drainage evaluation done. We're not saying no, we're just saying, those are the numbers. So in X number of years, you're tripling your capital
okay,
expenditure.
so there's, you're right. There's two problems. One came about when I asked the question in 2019 to VHB. Their studies, every study that they've done for us has had a forward-looking projection of costs, right? And in 2019, I asked the question, well, does that include the drainage stuff? And the answer was largely no.
Correct.
Okay, so that number, which I think was 18 or 19 million over the next whatever 5 years, didn't include any drainage.
Right.
And to me, that's one issue. And the second issue is what you all said 2 years ago, I think. I said, how do you estimate the cost for the drainage? And you said 30% of the cost of the asphalt. Right, of doing the road.
The number that works kind of.
It's a number
you do the
that works.
Yeah.
So my secondary concern is that when we say we're giving you 2 million or 2.5 between the operating budget and bonding.
Yeah.
It's not for asphalt. It's for the whole
It's everything,
thing.
absolutely.
And there's a perception, there has been at least a perception that when we bond for roads, we're doing asphalt. And the reality is, we know we're not. So we really ought to, if we want to do $2.5 million worth of asphalt a year, we need to up that number by 30% to get the drainage to do the asphalt. And
Can't disagree with your counts there.
so-
We're using the same way.
right now, as I sit here, you can't tell me how much it would cost to go in and repair all of the roads in town. If I could snap my finger tomorrow.
Yeah, but to get there is what that's the cost prohibit is to get there. So, but we can first certainly,
okay, I mean.
take this up and discuss it even further. It's just, I don't think
we
that.
want to, I think, I'm not gonna speak for my peers, but I'll speak for myself. I want to know, I don't want you limiting what you're asking for because you don't think we can give you the money. Right?
Well, then-
I'm not sure the best way to say that, but
Like, so it's like the chicken or the egg, like, we wanna give you more.
don't be
And you're like, well, how much will you give us?
If you can assign a guy to study more storm drains per day, per week, whatever, so that in the following year, you could hire the contractor to do whatever that quantity is, fine, tell us what that number is, and if it's too much, we cut it in half or whatever, but we don't have that number. So just don't moderate yourself.
Understand.
Yeah,
Let us moderate you from the bottom. What?
I got you.
I said, yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
And this won't be the
Anything-
last
does anybody
time we
have
talk
anything
about it.
No, Steve, it's
No.
not.
There's no.
Steve.
I've been on this since 2010. It's not gonna stop. I'll die before the road just over here.
Listen, road Steve are an ongoing thing. We're never gonna get them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are funding your assets. That's the best thing.
That's one thing I love what you're saying.
I do have one.
It's just-
No, I get it, but I do have one other question, seriously, about these potholes. Okay, so you guys go back through and fill, okay? Now, I blew a tire, you probably saw the thing on, I never saw the pothole.
Mhm.
I saw it last night when I was in Napa direction. Fine, but still, do you all go back and do something more permanent?
Well, it depends on the time of year.
Well, things that are being patched now.
If
things that are-
potholes are done correctly, you should. Now, do potholes have a tendency, sometimes they get water under them and for the most part, we try not to have that. Okay, and if the asphalt is hot and you put it in there, it's going in at 160 degrees. It kind of dissipates the water that's in there. If it's wet, they sweep it out, they do their thing. I have them now putting tack coat on these potholes, which is something that helps bond the old asphalt to the new asphalt. And it seems to be working pretty good. But for the most part, you'll go down a road and you'll see a bunch of patches in the road, not square patches, the round pothole patches, and they're holding up. They typically should hold up. So, I mean, like I'll tell you right now, February, no, they're not gonna hold up. We make asphalt, with the hot box and we put it in there, they're not gonna hold up, because the minute water gets in there and it freezes, because it does, it pops that. And that's just, it's the nature.
Yeah, I
of the
just wanted
beast.
sort of like, you have a log, you go back and check. Along the same lines, have you all ever looked at those infrared heating systems, melt the?
Yeah, they were in the road.
Yeah, they do. Look out here in the parking lot. When you drive out, you see those squares and those spots that are basically crumbling and falling apart.
It destroys the asphalt when they do it.
Cooks it out, burns it out, removes the oil, takes all the good stuff out.
Really?
It has an application.
So what is it?
Infrared.
It's
It's a heater.
So,
It's a heater that melts the
but it
top
also.
2.5 inches.
It's Ryan Mel.
Theoretically, you can put new asphalt and binder in and roll it.
Yeah,
Out there.
it's
Yep.
sounds great.
It becomes loud.
Okay,
Okay,
Anything else?
not from me.
No, I'm
Anything
telling you guys.
No.
We're good. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you very
Thank
much. And
you.
again, we
Thank you.
appreciate
Guys,
your support.
great job,
Thank you.
seriously.
Yeah,
Thank
we're-
you.
We're not,
Thank
we're
you.
not.
And again, I
No,
didn't get heated or anything.
We're not trying to be.
I just did a motion.
No.
Yeah.
I did very emotional.
It's just big number conversation.
You and I have gone around and.
Oh, Steve,
That's
big
what-
help. It's a place, but yeah.
What we're all about, so,
Got it.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We
All right.
support you.
Thank you, guys. We do appreciate that. We really do. Everything that you've given us is really went to, like I said, all the equipment and everything
Mhm.
we're
Yeah.
using and we thank you for it. It
Mhm.
really works out well for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right, we have people in the waiting. Let's see, let's do library, 69.
169.
Sorry? Me?
After the page.
Good evening. Hello. All right, so Steve, I think you were the one that asked for library.
Yeah, so, hold on, I'm on the wrong thing. Yes, I did. The makerspace.
Yes.
So there, you made a comment, I believe it was to the town council, it may have been with strategic planning. In which you said you didn't put in for the makerspace this year,
Correct, I did not put in for that.
and that,
Well, let me rephrase that. I did put for the makerspace, it was the adult and teen services assistant librarian. So it wouldn't just be makerspace, it would be helping to prepare adult programming, teen programming, makerspace programming, working the reference desk. Let me go that slow again.
yeah.
Okay, so preparing adult programming,
Okay,
teen programming,
okay,
makerspace programming, and working the reference desk, a service desk. And I envision this as an entry-level position, MLS, for someone recently going to be a graduate to get experience in how to work in a library. But to provide all that kind of expanding service and taking some of the weight off of the adult and teen services librarian, which is a full-time supervisor position.
okay. How does this position spread over several areas?
The position, because the adult and teen services librarian has morphed since about 2011, when I was hired as a part-time reference librarian. The position was originally an adult services librarian. The director at the time then said, oh, you can do teen too. So that became it. So the adult and teen services librarian does manage adult services, teen services, meaning adult and teen programming. Also manages part-time reference staff at the reference desk, providing services there. That's how I got my job here. And then interlibrary loan, and also acts as the assistant director. And so from there, and then COVID came, and then then Makerspace became a part of a service that the library was able to include. So again, they put that on top of that position. So that's why all those departments are under one person.
Excuse me. So compared to what you wanted for the makerspace last year, this would be not as much makerspace focus.
I think yeah.
You see what I'm,
No, and I think we talked a lot about the makerspace in the past. I have talked about that, but really this person would be doing all of it.
okay.
It was always all of it, because we
Oh,
need all of it. To take the work off of the supervisor that's doing it as well.
so that's all in here.
Yeah, so what happened, what I did in, so that position was not put forward in the budget to this year. Because I know that, again, that the schools were focused for the municipality this year, so that did not go forward. What I did do. I believe it's under library materials. Where did I put it? Yes, library materials, I believe it's page 174. I kind of, I broke out, I guess you could say supplies, for lack of a better way to say it. And then because there are these are all these departments under one person, I broke it out. I made adult programs a line, teen programs a line, and makerspace a line. And these really are the supplies to help do the work. Paying for performers, paying for crafts, paying for supplies. Sometimes people, because the makerspace's goal is not to make money, it is not a business venture, it is for experiential learning. Many people come in on an we have many open houses. Information centers, so we need materials, we buy the materials so we can demo. Or somebody comes in and they want to get through trained, and buy the material so we can help them get trained on the Cricut or the press or whatever. Type of
Do you
thing.
have any success with sponsorships for your programming?
The Friends pay over $25,000 last year.
Okay.
So they have sponsored all of summer reading, most of it, and any other programs because,
Any other outside companies?
We get grants. Sometimes we get grants from the savings banks. We write grants a lot, but all the grants that are out there are highly competitive.
Yeah.
And less money.
Okay, I was just interested.
So we do grants not only through the state library, like we got rejected on a summer enrichment grant. A couple other grants we've done with rural and small libraries, trying to expand our programming, doing different things, but it's quite competitive.
Okay.
So if we wanted to put the adult programming makerspace.
Jack of all trades.
That in. What are we looking at?
You have that?
Where should I have seen this?
So would that be on page 173 with all of the positions?
No, that's not there at all. It was not put forward at all. I'm sorry, one more time? No. I think it would have been,
You didn't even submit it. Is that?
Incorrect. I submitted it as part of the discussions in January and February.
Yeah.
Internally. And because of the need for the schools, it didn't come forward to you. Yeah, it didn't come forward to you.
Okay, so.
Is that a person that exists that is currently doing all of those jobs though?
Five people are doing them, yeah.
Okay, you were talking about bringing in one more person.
A full-time person to help on that, yes.
Okay, but that's what's not happening.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So my question would be, since it's now not reflected in here, and I did hear you say that it was taken out because that money was needed for the state. We dealt with sort of. I'd like to know what it would cost. Well, I guess two things. A, what it would cost for a full-time person, and what it would cost if, or could you even do it as a half-time person?
My part-time people that I am hiring are at 19 and a half hours right now. It is a part-time people. My reference staff is all part-time. Anywhere from 11 to 19 and a half hours a week. I'm already doing it that way. Because it also, would just help a little bit more. I don't know where it went. I don't have.
With fully loaded with benefits, it's $185,000. $20.
Say that again, please.
$101,020.
For that position, fully
For
loaded.
Supervisor position, so, if they're supervising and people wants to be.
Okay,
And,
This was
and
an
that,
assistant.
and so that's what we talked about this year. Last year, it was purely a clerical, just to be an entry level kind of position. So the number you,
I'm holding supervisor, because that's what it was. Because there's sometimes so.
yes, the entry level, but in a library, yes, yes. Because it would have an MLS, it was positioned as a supervisor position. Okay. But I can't get an entry level at a supervisor position. You know, what I'm looking for is somebody to, yeah, we could do supervisor, that's fine, but it's not where it's not the supervisor I need.
That's what the recommendation was.
I know, the recommendation was that, but I really needed as a clerical, somebody to do.
At more entry level.
Yeah, to do more of the grunt work. But I think they wanted it to do because clerical with the degree, I think would be a problem, could be a problem within the clerical, because I think that's why they wanted it a supervisor. Would I do a supervisor? I'm sure if I put it out there, I could find a supervisor for the makerspace. And then it would change a little bit and I could divide some stuff and do things for it.
Okay.
I
So
could find it.
is
I could
that,
find a spot for it.
is that 101 number fully loaded with benefits?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I could find a spot, find a home for it.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
no, I mean, I'm just trying to flush out the difference between last year, not doing something this year, and talking about doing something this year. And where the dollars fall, because obviously what you do and how you do it and how you organize is your purview. I'm trying to figure out, you know.
What would do
Play
in
it for a second year.
in that organization chart, it would be great because one of the divisions would then instead of everything coming to that adult teen services, you know, the seven departments under the one person, I'd have one more supervisor with just makerspace, which could actually help. I could then hire to that one department and then have one more supervisor. So it would help. It wasn't if you're talking about last year, that wasn't my goal, but we could find something to do. Find work for them. There's plenty of work to go around. And again, this person could be a makerspace person, but that does not mean that I may not need them to stay with me on a night that a Thursday night to 9 o'clock because I'm doing a program, because that's the only night we have free. I need somebody to be there. Type of thing.
Okay. Another question, completely different subject. Long-term plan in terms of hours, days, open. Is there a strategic plan? Is there a wish list? Is there, you know, I know that a number of years ago, there was a committee that I was on, looked at, you know, where you wanted to be down the road.
So you're right. The strategic plan was 2 years ago now that we did. And in there, many of the public asked for Sunday hours. But to do that, well, the supervisor could help because even though they could do a Sunday, they could work a Sunday and run a makerspace program at the same time. But it is, I have not looked at Sunday hours at all. I have not run those numbers. The numbers I'm running is only without Sundays at the moment. So I had a library board member. Now that you're asking, I'm going to tell you. I had a library board member one day say they're no longer on the board here in Monroe. And one of the questions they said, you know, what could you do? So if 1 penny of every dollar of the municipal budget were devoted to the library, what could you buy? So 1 penny, so let's say the municipal budget's $110 million. Let's just say. So you're looking at 1.1. What could you buy? So I could buy a supervisor, makerspace person for 1 penny. Here's your penny. I also could buy, I need a supervisor, the circulation department. Here's your penny. I could also use a clerical, I have a part-time technical person right now working in the makerspace. I could use a clerical person in there to expand that to work. Clerics, makerspace, there's your pen. I could also use a youth services librarian that could do work for tweens and teens and underneath the adult teen services librarian. Again, so that person could now, my adult teen services librarian could now be more strategic and be my assistant director. Or I could buy an assistant director, non-union, and still have $500,000 left. So you ask me what I want, that's what I could do with $500,000. I haven't done that. But that could pay for Sunday hours and extra hours. No, I'm coming back for that penny.
I think the first time we're gonna leave a meeting, it's more money than I came with.
So I haven't done the numbers, but I mean, I know that's what it's gonna cost.
So out of all of those things, you maintain the priority list?
That is the priority list right now. Those
In
five.
that order?
Yep.
I have a,
Sure.
the library revenue, there was an adjustment made by the person, increased that by $2,000.
Yeah.
What was that? Stuff in-
Basically,
for
basically because we're not a fine-free library, so a lot of the fines that we're getting are going there. We have automatic renewals, but it's still coming, those fines go there. They also get meeting rooms and some of the copies, some of the, the big, huge copy. So that goes there too. And actually, we're cheaper than Staples, so we have runs on copies. And we had to do a booming business on copies. So that's where all of that goes back to revenue.
So we think that we're gonna be doing almost
5,000.
What do you charge for copies?
Had submitted.
25, 15, you're asking me these questions. The desk. But it's like 15 cents, but yeah,
Yeah, so that's reasonable to think that we're gonna be getting even more than that.
probably, yes.
Okay, just making sure. I don't wanna like increase that and,
Well, the revenue doesn't come, just so you know, the revenue doesn't offset me. It goes back to the general fund. So we are not a revenue, we are a service. So I mean, that's there, but that does nothing for us. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the general fund to help whomever, but not directly back to us.
It pays for the copy paper.
I guess so. It goes back to IT and they pay it. Yeah. The exchange fee. Because the paper, yeah, it goes back to the paper. Yeah, for the paper on that. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
All right, next we'll do Parks and Rec. 176.
Missy.
Nicole, you're Penny.
Yeah. Over there.
Oh.
No.
176.
Kim, you wanna go? Kim, go ahead. Sure.
Fight over it now. Work something at this hour.
Will I request, can I go first in 2027? Yeah.
Ladies first.
No, it's not about that.
Here, ladies first.
No, next year we can go from the back of the book, that.
Yeah, go backwards. Back to top.
Okay.
All right, do you want to give a overview first to get everyone acclimated to what's going on with Parks and Rec? I know I've done this a couple days ago.
We are getting ready to continue to run programs and activities for the community. We do stuff all winter, spring, summer, and the money that you guys let us have in the budget helps us provide that to the community. I don't know what else.
No, just D is new to the board.
Oh, okay.
Just having everybody. Okay. So let me see what my questions are. With program costs, have you? I don't think those stay flat this year in this budget, for this budget?
So certain programs are run through our program fund, so the fees that participants pay, that's what covers program supplies and the instructors and stuff like that. So that's separate from the regular budget. But the stuff that I'm requesting to be covered is like some of the maintenance stuff that has to be done at the park, grass seed, bathroom upkeep, the tennis courts, the basketball courts that are used for the general public. And then the typical, we do trainings. There's services with our alarms and the fire, toilet paper, paper towels, things that are for everybody.
Did I hear at another meeting, redoing the bathrooms?
I believe in
It's in here.
Capital.
Yeah.
Chapel, okay.
So yes.
Yeah, it said something about the showers and.
Yes, I'm looking to get some better handles. So when people are using the showers at Wolf Park Pool, they're easier to shut off and so we're not wasting water and stuff like that.
Do you pay for all or a portion of the park stickers out of your budget, or is that out of the tax budget?
That's out of the tax budget.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I thought.
What about the upgrade that's going on around Great Hollow? Is that a state funded
You mean the Rails to Trails line?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a grant.
grant from the state?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be completed end of 2026, like the fall, give or take.
Okay, okay. Thanks.
Yes.
Well,
Okay, so talk to me about your staffing, because what are you looking to add? Well. In the goals, you had goals of adding full-time and part-time and year-round staff, and then in your budget highlight, you're adding 2 full-time, 1 part-time. What exactly is in this?
So that if that is going to happen, that's going to come out of the program fund. Because, eventually we're going to be moving over to the community center, so we're going to need more staffing. We don't know exactly when all that is going to officially start. So based on programming that we're going to be doing, we'll add some additional.
So
seats.
where is that on here?
It's not, because it's the program fund.
Okay,
It'll be self-funded.
Yes,
okay, always?
I hope so. That would be the goal, but
Okay. So if you don't have the programming, then those people would be terminated?
well, you need to have programming to sustain them anyway, so we're
Right.
hoping that, but if we have to terminate or lay off or furlough,
Okay,
but right now what you see on the grid, that's the main page, that's the current staff setup.
okay.
But hopefully as our programs grow, we will need more staff.
So when we were talking, when town was talking about purchasing things. And running programs, that statement was made that the programs and the money we take in would cover the cost of operating the building. Is that still the operable plan.
What's the what's your
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Steve. Go ahead, say it again.
So when we were purchasing St. Jude,
Yes,
the statement was that.
statement from who?
From the first selectman at the time.
Okay,
That the intent was that we would be running programs in that building that should bring in enough revenue to cover the operating costs of
I
that
believe the
building.
projection was $250,000. I believe that was the original projection.
Okay, I don't remember the number.
I do, I was on council, yeah.
Okay, so my question is that idea still holds?
Is that possible? I believe it is, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of activities that we can do there. The goal of Missy and I talk a lot about this, but the goal is to kind of equal a little bit of what Edmonton Town Hall does, where we have events and shows and guest speakers. And right now we're working on getting a kitchen finish, so we'll be able to serve food. And so I think that we should be able to see a decent amount of revenue. Now, are we going to see exactly the 250? That was an estimation based on the time when Mr. Kellogg was here and all the meetings that we had and the possibilities of what you could and could not do. I think there's going to be, it's going to be a growing, there's going to be some growing pains as what programs are actually going to work. Missy and I are going to start really talking about that because, we're getting to the point, we're getting close to where we can open. And so we have to start talking, what are really the requirements of the community? What are they looking for? What are the programs that you think could really be successful right out of the gate? I'm going to try to do the things that we know could bring in revenue and be successful. We'll start there. You're not going to get risky, right? But I think, the rental fees, there's a lot of things you can do with that center that you can't do with a school auditorium because kids are present. So to answer the simple, I think it's possible. I'll have a better idea for you as we sit down and do the programs and see what the membership and the interest in those programs is. But right now, I think the projections are definitely possible, and I believe they could actually exceed that. There's other things that we could do there, but I think it's reasonable to say we could get there. I don't think we'll get there the first year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's gonna take some time.
just wanted to make sure the premise was still.
There definitely will be revenue generation. I definitely foresee it taking care of its own payroll. I'm comfortable with saying that it'll be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a new endeavor, right? And we're excited about it, but it's gonna be a slow roll, Still working on grant money to get some other things done too, so. To answer your question, yeah, I think we can get there, yeah.
Okay.
I remember how excited you were last year with all of the different programs and everything, and just hearing how that's evolved is.
And also, if any of you want to take a visit down there, take a look at where it's at. It's really impressive what we've gotten done so far.
When did you say you anticipated to be done? The community center?
What's that?
When did you say you anticipated to be completely?
Well,
ready?
you have a lot of deadlines, right? But when you're doing things, there's fire suppression stuff, there's health, there's a lot of things, like camera systems. So we're at the point where we're almost at a CO status, but we need the fire suppression looked at. We have some, there's some medical items in there in case of emergencies that we have to take care of. So we're at finishing details. We have to, the building department, because ADA certifications, we have to put a ramp off the back of the gym. So that was something that I didn't foresee, as you go through this, little things pop up. So I was hoping to have it kind of open already, but that's just how these projects go, so we're looking good. I want to be cautious with what I say because I can't just recklessly say it, but I truly would love to see it open in some capacity by June 1st, I would hope.
All depending on the C of O, basically.
Yeah, and the time of, getting materials in, like we have to order that ramp and when it comes in, and we're looking at putting an elevator in there too. That's not gonna happen. It'll open before the elevator's in, but the elevator will use the upstairs and June 1st, I would love to see that. I would hope to see that. People on watching, I can't guarantee that, but that would be the goal, yeah.
I had the occasion to go over to the IT area and that came out very nice. And they're very happy over there.
Yeah, they are. I've been there too.
Yeah, so we rebuilt a total cybersecurity center and it's really well done. They were in the back of Monroe, as you know. And they had, their equipment was overheating because in the summertime, there was really no ventilation there. So they're in a much better situation. We're almost done with Missy. We'll get Missy over there. The building inspector has to look at some things to finish that up. And then once she gets over there, then we're gonna hit the ground running,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't know, let me ask the question, maybe it's another conversation for another day. The overall plan for the site, we were told there's a number of phases, right? We gave the 3 million to do phase 1, 2, 1, 6, 3.
I think that's probably a conversation for another night, maybe our capital night, we can get like an update on
Okay.
I could throw one thing out.
phases.
The original vision of the building was one way, but I have everybody has their own creative ideas and concepts. Phase 1 will go as planned. Phase 2, originally there wasn't really talk of an elevator, but it proves to be more useful if we do that. Also, I'm looking at maybe putting a peaked roof on it to make it match the historic character of our other buildings. So there's some things that I thought about that I like to do, but the next phase after we get this up and running, we'll really look at it closely and kind of put a plan forward as to how we want to approach the next. There's a lot you can do there, Steve. You can do a gym there, you can consider a pool. There's a lot of things you can do with that property in that area.
That's why I think it's a conversation for another
I
time.
agree.
I'm
Because we
sorry,
have
he
Missy
asked, I
here.
just wanted
No,
to
I know.
generally.
I know, just we have Missy here. We're talking Parks and Rec, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, that's okay.
Any other questions?
Good.
Just seeing the updates.
All right, all set.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Senior Center, Social Services. 164.
$164?
Yep.
No.
Oh, no, he did.
Technically, I'm the Director of Community and Social Services, so it's a C.
You're right. Community. So I'm sorry about that. Incorrect.
Which is very confusing because we get a lot of calls about the community center. And I'm like, I am not Parks and Rec and I am the community center. Community and Social Services, they get confused. We have to work on the title, I'm sorry.
We will.
Which one are we doing first?
So
Oh, you're on the senior center?
yes.
Yeah.
164. So it kind of started with food pantry.
Well, that's social services.
Yeah.
160, if you go to the 160, that's the social services.
161, right?
Oh,
How about 167 that says social services?
that's social services, the 60, whatever is senior center.
Oh, we don't see.
I know, my budget's in two different places. Well, because you know what, that's something that I've always wondered why we didn't, but it's like it's under with social services kind of grouped with health.
That's right, they're different things.
But I mean, technically I'm one department, so I don't know why it's not all together.
It's, yeah.
Okay, so there we go. Audit perspective. I knew.
These are accountants.
So you do social services in
164.
166. There was a question on page 165, just for some of the missing. the total for the contact, the number of contacts is flat year to year.
Wait a minute, you're talking about
What's,
social services,
65 pages in.
165.
The big block in the middle of the page, information and assistance. Got the number of contacts, 2023, 24, 25, has a description. When I look at the numbers, the one that jumps out at me, even though the bottom line says we've got about the same number of contacts, is the support, is the case management. Is a significant jump, and it's also a trend. From 23 to 24 to 25. So can you just talk about
So
what that is and what it represents?
yeah, support basically is somebody calls up and they have concerns. And it's, we haven't really, this is something that several years ago we were asked to try to capture. So like, it depends on that clinician, whether she feels she's given, support or not to that person. So, we get people who call up looking for, services for, school. Well, by the time Mary Ann's done talking to that person, she's got them signed up for the back to school program, the Christmas giving tree program. We've got them on energy assistance. We've got them on the food pantry. So, she'll check support. And then, the next time that client calls, she checks support, so it depends on where that clinician feels they've given support to that client. It's kind of a generalized category.
So it's like a judgment.
It's like a judgment call,
Yeah.
like,
You're clearly seeing.
oh, absolutely. I mean, people think that Monroe is, this town that's doing really well. Yes, we are, but we have a bunch of people out there who are living on fixed incomes, or, we've got several families right now, they've lost jobs or just you lost a spouse, and, they don't want to come to us for services, but they do. And like, once we get them in the door, we start talking to them, and
Helping.
we might, today you might take this service, but next time Mary Ann talks to you, she might get you signed up for that service and that service. So the more we can grasp out of the person, because sometimes they're not always so willing to share. We have a lot of proud people in this town. And, when I was the elderly services coordinator, people would come to me and they would start crying when I would say, listen, this is what we have for you. And they don't want to do it. And I would, always say to them, look, you're having a hard time right now. I'd rather, instead of you, spending money here, you need to spend your money to pay for, your medication or this. Let's get you signed up to the food pantry. Let's get you signed up for SNAP benefits. Let's do this. So, and people don't want it, but I'm like, it's there. And then when you're back up on your feet, guess what? You can help pay it forward. You can help us run a food drive, or you can talk to your friends and have them donate. So, we have a lot of people in town who, like right now we have two families, they just lost their jobs. So we're helping them with whatever capacity we can. We get them on whatever programs we can get them on. So. It's a tough one.
yeah. But needed.
And the other thing is, just to throw out there, is, like when you see the numbers for the holiday giving tree and the school supplies, like Mary Ann will code that in her stats. She'll say worked on this. And I'm trying to tell her, tell me how many families you worked on that time, because it throws off the numbers up in the metrics up here, but then we capture it down here. So as long as we're capturing it in one place, I'm happy with that.
On page 167, in the budget itself, under local services, operating expense, which is line count 15 3390.
Wait a minute, sorry. All right, 167, where are you?
Basically in the middle of that pocket, those rows, it's account 153390, operating expense.
Yes.
Spent $1,200 in 24-25. And year to date, when this was created, was only 233 spent. Is there some reason behind the $2,672? It's more than you spent, and it's probably twice your 5-year average.
Well, what we added in, and I believe, I'm sorry, didn't bring the 24 budget with me, but we did add in volunteer recognition. The food pantry cannot operate without, we have one employee there. He's a part-time employee. Food pantry is run basically under his supervision with volunteers. We have volunteers that, pick up things from grocery stores. We have volunteers who stock the shelves. We have the volunteers do many things. They, we get products in. They have to look at every product that comes that door, make sure it's got proper dates on it. And then there's something called Red X, and there's all these different things that they have to do. So everything that comes into the food pantry, if it's food, has to get weighed. So anything food items come in has to get weighed, has to get checked. And if you have to throw something out, then that gets weighed and dumped that way. So we have people that shop for people. So when it's your time to come to the food pantry, you'll be assigned to shop for Mrs. J. So we have many different people doing many different tasks. And, in the spring and summer, we have the gardens. So we have people that tend to the gardens so we can grow our own vegetables to give to the people that come in. We have, I want to say, I was just looking at the number and I don't remember the breakdown of how many was which one. So, as a little recognition, we give them a gift certificate to say thank you for their volunteering. Is this being taped? Okay, so there's a place that they like to go, so we give them a gift certificate so they can go get something from that place in town, and I don't want to make anybody feel bad. But, again, without their help, we just wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, we have a bin outside, they go out, they have to get the items out of the bin and bring it in. We have to throw the garbage, we have to break down the cardboard.
They're volunteers, they're doing hard work.
Yeah, and they are really.
Absolutely deserve that.
So that was one of the things that I put in the budget, so that we can recognize them and say thank you. From last year to this year, I only went up $50, and that was because we had some more volunteers. So I wanted to do, recognition. I went up $850 to $900. The other thing that's in there that wasn't, I don't remember what year I got it, but we have a generator. And one of the things that's a standing thing in there, because we haven't had to use it, but I always put it in is if we do use it, I have to have something to get that propane back into the generator. So, that wasn't in there several years ago. So
You have one tank?
we have got two, I think they're 125s. They're not very big.
I know, yeah, I have a pair of them, yeah.
Yeah, so if we have to, we take the generator out, hook it up, run it, and
You've got a portable, not a.
yeah, the prior first selectman wasn't too keen on getting a temporary one. He always thought we might be moving into the community center someday, so we got a one that's big enough, and I was like, why do you need one so big? I'm like, because, he's talking about just using it in the winter. And I've said, that's great. But remember when we were out for 10 days in the summer? Yeah, well, I don't like what happens with pasta and those little things. So I said, we need something to run the generator. We have a lot of refrigerators, freezers, the air conditioning. So it's big enough to run the air conditioning, all the refrigerators and the freezers, because you do not want that building getting warm with the amount of pasta and cereal.
No, is it a standby generator or is it a portable that you have to
It's a
move out?
big portable one. Yeah, so
And I see here that you applied for a grant to get a permanent generator, is that right?
I did. We didn't get it though, because we had gotten the year before, I had gotten a grant to, we do the ramp. So the ramp was redone. I did the floor when you walk into, the actual pantry itself had holes in it that we were, putting carpets over it to cover the holes. So it's got new flooring. We got the new ramp. So because I had gotten that grant, because I asked them, I said, what happened? How come I didn't get the grant? Did I do something wrong in my grant writing? And they're like, no, we have to try to give it to as many people as we can. So, and I understood. I can't be greedy. I got it. So.
Well, of course, that's good. Since we're talking about generators, I thought I would ask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a standby one that's permanently fixed and then.
I mean, maybe we could
you
get
won't have to worry about.
build like a little house there and keep it in there. I don't know.
Permanent one. Okay.
All right, I'm good up there. Okay, so.
Social services is good?
Yes.
Is that over there? Senior center is like 60 something. I think might be 61. I don't know if I have different page numbers than you. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 61, right.
Yeah. Also see us, because we don't know. Give it a name.
You may come up in another meeting. Talk to me about where you are with vans.
Oh, transportation.
Vans.
Funny thing.
But
Happen
on the way to the store.
Yeah, so the 20 passenger bus is I'm waiting to hear back from DOT. Everything's in motion for that after things were signed. So I have to actually reach out to April tomorrow, find out where we are. They order the chassis ahead of time, knowing that it's grants, that's coming up. So our bus, our 20 passenger bus died. And so currently we're running our 14 passenger bus, the Crown Vic, the Taurus, and we borrowed an SUV from somebody in town. Oh, that was yours? Thank you very much.
So is that bus number one?
What are you looking at? Oh, bus one? No, bus one is my newer bus. That's the 14 passenger bus. And bus two is the 20 passenger bus. The 20 passenger bus was a 2011. So it had been sitting for a while. But as we got busier and busier with transportation, we had it, got it on the road again. So we can, do more with the transportation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but these buses are just used for trips to, say, Boston or something. They're not used for a local?
No, actually, we used to do a lot more recreation activities with the buses. We used to take the book club here. We used to take them here. Primarily, we're doing a lot of medicals.
Medical.
Yeah, we've had, a lot of people tend to bring mom, dad to live in Monroe.
Okay.
And mom and dad might not be driving, but the parents are working. I mean, the children are working. We have that sandwich generation. So we're doing a lot more medicals.
Okay.
I mean, we do try to bring people to different places. We do, restaurants, we bring them into the center for programs. With 4 vehicles, we were actually, able to do some of that, but if we get a medical, you might get bumped from your haircut, unfortunately.
So it's mostly just local to the
Local.
Monroe area, no grocery.
Actually, we do, Monroe, Stratford, Trumbull, Shelton, but what I had to do with Shelton was, actually restrict Shelton to medicals only because it takes our vehicles off the road depending where they're going.
Mhm.
I know people want us to go to Fairfield, but it would take us off the road
Too
too
far.
far.
Yeah.
So, and what I explained to many of the seniors is like, might have a doctor in Fairfield, but they have an office in Trumbull or Monroe. So please ask them if they have an office.
Yeah.
So we, and our transportation coordinator, he's awesome. He'll work with the seniors to try to get them to different appointments as well as help them schedule. So we have a lot of people that are great at computers. And now if you want to go to Quest, everything has to be done online.
Yeah.
So,
So your total members, they're from all different towns?
yes.
Okay.
I do have a breakdown, but I didn't bring that
That's
with me.
okay.
90% of our people are Monroe residents.
Okay.
But we did have an influx from Trumbull because they didn't get their new building and we don't discriminate.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just so you know, I did apply for the 2014 bus. I mean, the 14 passenger bus.
Okay.
So your goal is to have people through passengers.
Well, we want to have the 20 passenger and then, so right now we're replacing the 20 passenger. And then I just finished writing the grant for the 2014.
To replace the 24.
I mean, excuse me, 14 passenger.
What year is?
So the 14 passenger bus that we have right now is a 2017. And per DOT standards, it has met its end of life because they define it as age and the mileage. And so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that's the only thing you had on capital, right? Because I see it's marked under grants, other.
For this year? Can we get it in?
Yeah.
Oh. The bus, oh,
Yeah, it's on the capital.
It's on the capital.
okay. It wasn't, okay.
No, it is. There you go.
You did a good job getting it in.
Well, I learned my lesson from finance, unfortunately, they come out with this grant, right after our budget is put in. So next year, I might apply next fiscal year they now have smaller vans.
Okay.
So I will put a placeholder in for that, whatever the one coming up after this one is.
I was recently reading about all these programs for preventing elder abuse, support programs, even programs that help for fraud, education and all of that. Do you do any of those classes and stuff?
Yes, we have what we call the Monroe Triad. It's been a little dormant lately. So I had my elderly services coordinator was working on it and she got busy. So I said, I'll take it back. Triad is a combination of the police, seniors, and the community. And with Triad, we plan a lot of events that our Triad was actually begun. Let me step back for a second. It was actually started because of the victimization of older adults being, scammed.
Right.
So, there's only so many educational things you can do on scams. So our Triad decided that we were going to do things on senior safety. So actually in June, every June, we do the dog days of summer. We have the police dog come out, they do a
a demo, they do a talk, we serve hot dogs. And the seniors love it. Actually, April 17th, we have, Stacy and what's the other guy's name? Dominic are gonna come out and they're gonna actually do a talk on scams. I was at the Elder Abuse Conference earlier today. And we've had programs from Financial Bingo. The lady from the state who works for the Department of Treasury come out and do a bingo, but she does it on, taking into consideration all fraud and things like that.
Right.
And then, sometimes we'll do like coffee with the fire marshal and have him come in and talk about, carbon monoxide and cleaning out, making sure, your fireplace is clear or your hose is clear so you don't get carbon monoxide in your house.
Right.
So the triad tries to do a lot of senior safety things, but primarily scams and things like that. And if we do have somebody or know somebody who's been scammed, people, some of my seniors are really good. They'll come in and say, hey, I got this phone call. And, we'll call up the police and let them know about it.
Local banks are very good with it too.
Yeah.
All banks, they know if something don't seem right, the whole thing, they call us, we come down, we've stopped quite a few of them that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's small grants, I think, but in the article I read, it was just, you're in tune to it, obviously.
Oh, yeah, don't try to mess with my seniors.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that side of me come out.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And then as far as like measuring like outcomes and engagement and, do you do that? Do you record metrics like that?
We used to, it's trying to get a senior to fill out a survey is.
Right.
It's like, what is this? They don't want to do it. I mean, like one time I literally went table to table and said, please fill this out. Here's the pencils. I'll give you a free cup of coffee. Please fill this out. It's, but they tell us what they want. They wanted line dancing. We got line dancing, so that program just started. They're really happy. Good. Go for it. So whatever they tell us, as long as we can find somebody to do it, we're going to do it. As long as it's not too outrageously expensive.
Right.
Okay. We do need to get a full tables.
Well, we need to expand the building and that's hopefully once you're done building everything else in this town, I want to expand the senior center so we can put a game room on. Because if you haven't been to the senior center, I mean, when they built it at the time, it was decent, but we have one main room, we have 2 program rooms, and we have a library. And there's days that everything's in use. And, they want a pool table. Well, I can't put a pool table in the middle of everything because, you have an activity, you can't move that, So if I can get a dedicated game room, I would love that. So someday you're going to see me come back and say, I want to expand the senior center.
Noted. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Thank you for.
Yeah, thank you
No.
for all you do there too. I've
Thank
been there
you.
a number of times.
Well, feel free you want to come by, I'll give you a tour, give you a cup of coffee. Hot chocolate or tea.
Probably my most fun place.
An application.
I want to-
55 and older.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, one more department.
What page are we on now?
105, please.
105? I'll send it over.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
No, likewise.
You were talking about the scams and the bank.
Yes.
Our church, St. Peter's Grace, 2 years ago, the bank called me up. I'm the treasurer of the church. They called me up and said, did you write a check for $250,000 to?
No, I
blah,
did
blah, blah, blah?"
not.
I said, we don't even have that kind of money in the checking account. And it was the bank that caught it.
Yeah, the
for
banks
me.
are very good.
Yeah, and
All our local
I
banks.
filed a thing at the
Fraud
police
complaint.
department. And if she hadn't, the next day, there was a check for 17,000, which might have gone through.
Oh, geez.
But the 250 didn't.
It's ironic. They usually do the reverse. They do the smaller amounts first
Yeah.
and they keep adding.
For some reason, the larger one came first.
Glad they caught
Yeah,
it.
they caught it for us, yeah. But we had to change checking accounts and.
Better to do that than lose the
Yeah, I
money.
know.
And actually, just to add to that, a lot of the, actually, I haven't talked to CVS, but Rite Aid and
Yeah, they're on
Walgreens
it too.
I've spoken to. If a senior tries to buy a lot of those, I never knew what a green dot card was.
Oh, yeah.
So, I said to them, if somebody comes in and they're trying to buy a bunch of these, please let the police know.
Yeah.
Because that's an untraceable card, and once you put money on it,
Yeah.
you can't
You
get it
can't get
back.
it back, right, right.
So, and the businesses have been very receptive to helping out the seniors in town.
Yep.
That's great.
That's a good idea, yeah.
All right, this is probably an easy question, but for animal control, for your electric and everything, is that?
Our footprint is much bigger down there now.
It's a new building.
It's a new building,
Right.
so we didn't have any
we
idea what
didn't
to
have it
expect.
all Last year, right?
Well, we had a much smaller amount. There was a much smaller building last year, a much older building. They
Right.
were running it off space heaters and failing all the Department of Ag tests.
Well, when I see 244%, that's not a typical trend, so
No.
I want to make sure that's just
We're running
leveling
that
us
problem
out.
as we speak
I
right
think
now.
we're under budgeted this year.
Way under, like
Again, we
3,500.
didn't have trend. We
Okay.
didn't have any trend.
I think we talked about that last year too.
Right, that it was.
Yeah, it was gonna be an
Kind of like
unknown
un-
going into
yeah.
it, and it turned out to be worse than probably anticipated.
Okay,
Probably not as expensive as Stratford's, right, Catherine?
I don't even know what that could be. Nope.
The Taj Mahal.
Of animal control buildings. And we've had residents in there quite a bit this year, so the heat's got to stay at a higher temperature.
okay. And then I just wanted to ask on personnel and staffing.
Mhm.
You've got the 2 new officers, right?
Yep.
And then with the overtime trend, would any of that be offset next year with those, or is that?
So
we're
part
still
of the officers, so we gave back 2 officers in 22, I believe it was.
Yeah,
To set up the armed school security program at the schools. So we were asking for those back because we have maintained, as we've talked about a few times, the same minimum staffing for the police department. I've been here 30 years.
right.
It predates me by about 15 to 3 officers and 1 supervisor. We're finally moving by this contract to 4, at least on the evening shift.
Okay.
Ideally, you'd want it on all the shifts, but we compromised with what we have to just get it on the evening shift, the busy shift.
And those were added last
year. I know the paper's talking about 2 new lists.
Yeah, I was
They're
a
not-
little
they're-
confused,
It's the
yeah.
2 reinstatements of the old 2.
Right.
And it's only 2. It's not 4 like a lot of people have put out there.
So you're at full strength?
No, I'm actually down 2 right now. My deputy chief resigned and went to take a job at St. Vincent's Hospital. And I did have an officer who went to Stratford PD. So I anticipate hiring a replacement for 1 of those by the end of the month. And we have academy seats now for July 2nd.
Okay.
No, I have 4 available seats to me on July 2nd. And we have to see how many I have more retirees happening between now and then.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of retirements this year, the way they changed the retirement plan at the state level. So outside of myself, everybody who's eligible to retire is basically taking the plan before it changes.
Okay.
So when all of this churn is done, so you can fill all the positions, you'll be at
44.
4. And,
We're currently at 42 if we were fully staffed.
Okay.
and that's.
That's me to the newest guy.
That 44 is, I don't want to say the level you want to be at, 'cause I'm assuming you maybe want more, but. that's
I think
what you
it's
would
fair.
consider full.
I consider that full and we can accomplish what we need to accomplish, yes. Especially with the 4+1 on the road. Which is, a lot of people don't realize that that's what takes, if you have 3 officers out there on the midnight shift tonight, you're gonna have 3 officers on. One guy's gonna have from Trumbull to the end of Hattertown Road, to Newtown, to the park. That's his patrol sector for 1 cop. He gets called on any call USA, and now you have a heart attack over here. We're the first responders for medical, which I think a lot of people don't realize too.
Yeah.
This person has a heart attack in section 1 here. A guy is coming from the dam now to try to get to you having that heart attack. So we need to have the two officers on each side of town is the
So
goal.
you have two coverage areas? that the town-
We have four. So the town's split into a cross there. We have
Okay.
northeast, southeast, and northeast, southwest. I mean, southwest, southeast.
And I know from talking to one of the police commissioners that getting the full staffing was going to put these officers on the night shift.
Correct. That's where they're gonna go.
For just what you were saying. Okay.
I actually brought a detective I dropped a detective and put him back in patrol, also to try to get more patrolmen out there to get to that 4+1 ratio, which is no cost or anything, but I just eliminated one of the jobs in the detective bureau.
I know we talked, I think we talked about it, or I think I heard it through you guys about Oxford. Some can use some of our police if they need to.
So that's for special duty jobs. So those are outside. So those are non-paid by Monroe type jobs. So that's the utility company hires a cop for the day.
Okay.
We've had a deal already in place with Trumbull and with Newtown. So Oxford was the next to join up because a lot of police departments are running very low staffed at the moment and they're having a hard time filling these jobs. So we kind of just wash and help each other out with the extra duty jobs, which are of no cost to the town.
Right,
They
because
actually-
the town that they're going to pays for it.
Correct, or the utility company that's hiring, yeah, so the town doesn't even pay.
Okay.
So if you see a Trumbull officer working on Pepper Street, and we had that project going, Trumbull filled that whole project for us. We didn't pay Trumbull,
Okay,
Grasso paid Trumbull.
okay.
And when our officers are on special duty, the revenue comes to the town.
Correct.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
there's a fund, there's a special duty fund that things are purchased out of, like
Cars,
patrol cars primarily.
and the radio contract is the big
Radio,
one.
that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so while we're talking about officers, so I read there's a new contract that was just
Correct.
signed. How is that, and this may be a first selectman or Ron question, how is that contract currently reflected in here?
So no change has been made. This is because the contract was signed, 2 weeks ago?
So we have to update.
But what was there an allowance? Is it an allowance line?
So it's in wage adjustment.
It's in wage adjustment.
Okay, and I believe I think Heidi's got an entry to push it off. But that would have to be, I
So
mean,
we'll.
if it doesn't happen, so there's no, I believe net there's no change.
That was right on.
So it's just gonna be moving money within the budget.
Okay, but we need to do that before we approve. Sure.
Yeah, so it could either be done now or it could be done as a budget transfer after the budget's approved. Either way works. It could be done, we could push it out for next week.
I would prefer that we push it out for next week and we put a budget that we know where the dollars are actually going.
Okay.
So we'll have it on the spreadsheet. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I was just looking at capital.
Yeah, just something I'd like to add for this board, just so you know, with that special duty fund and the money going in there, the chief was gracious. We talked about purchasing cars out of there, which we have done in the past, and then also in capital with the fence around the building. That is something we're gonna use. So these are things in the tune of $500,000 that would actually be in the budget. These are deflecting, that impact. So that's helpful. Very few departments offer up $500,000 in finances to offset the tax impact of the budget.
So the fencing around the building, so what's gonna happen in the back of the building is there's no longer gonna be a pass through from side to side. Right?
Yeah, with the opening of the community center, it kind of increases a possible safety risk. People coming up to the back and kind of sneaking in, because we'll have a drive that goes from town hall down to there. So
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, in the summer with the farmer's market, when things are packed. You come
I'm sure
down
there
to
will
one
be
side of the
someone
building.
around.
Right now,
They come around,
we block it anyway. We put barricade, they drive through them, but we put up horses and stuff to try to block, because it's awkward. You got to picture an officer going at 4 o'clock, he goes out on duty. He's got a rifle over his shoulder. He's got his AED, he's got his bag, and he goes out to, he's trying to load his car, and you're walking there with these rifles, and mom and her 4 kids are walking up to the farmer. It's bizarre. It's a weird setup.
Yeah.
And I think
I
the
guess
people are,
I guess I go when it's not 15.
yeah, the people I think see us and they're like, what's going on here? And it's just normal routine day-to-day stuff for us.
So I don't know how to ask this, but I'm just gonna
Go for
put it out there. Like with your uniforms and your firearms, like I know they've evolved over time with technology and even like, fabrics that, how often are you like updating that?
So what we do, most officers get 2 shirts, 2 pants
Yeah.
per season per year. That's what most.
Okay, so it's yearly.
Yeah.
On that front. And
These,
then
like-
firearms, are you?
The firearms, we buy them as needed or as they go defunct. So firearms aren't,
So do you test them obviously?
yeah, they
you're
get
shooting.
checked. Yeah, we shoot twice a year and they get examined by the armor twice a year.
Okay,
So if you find a malfunction that's not repairable, you would trade it in and get a different one.
okay,
But that does not happen yearly for the guns, no.
okay. And like all the tactical gear and all that stuff.
Same stuff, same process it goes through, it gets examined. A lot of times you gotta buy parts, like the rifles we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wear and tear, taking them in and out, because they get in these secure holsters that are in the car. You
Right.
gotta know the code in the car to pop the, so now everything's always moving and the clamps are hitting the barrels and the
Yeah.
sights are out of alignment. So it's a big deal that you have to keep those tuned and luckily the shop that does it is right here on 111 in town.
Right, yeah. So everything in here, there's nothing needed or asked?
No, I've asked for, basically what's in here is raises for a lot of different units got
Right.
raises this year. There are no big asks for the police department in there this year.
Okay.
That's my question. Is there anything more you'd like to see?
Right now, I would tell you, I'm satisfied where we are. I'm a very frugal person. That would be my history as you go through my couple of years worth of books, but if I wanted it, I would ask for it. At the moment, there is no big ask that I'm looking for. The biggest thing I wanted was that 4-man minimum, because I believe it's not only an officer safety issue, it's a town safety issue. And so I've been following all the online chat, and I don't think people realize that we're the only service in town that's always here.
Exactly.
And what I've told people, I gave a heart attack example earlier. I said, if you have a heart attack on Super Bowl Sunday, guess who's coming to your house at 2 a.m? It ain't the ambulance. We're gonna be there about 20 minutes before that ambulance gets there. And
Right,
if you have 2 ambulance calls, we've sat at homes for 45 minutes waiting for mutual aid to come. I don't think many people realize we are the medical people for the town too,
yeah.
and how much stuff is actually in our car for that purpose.
I know that.
So speaking of medical gear, you're still good on all that too?
Still good. So we have like the defibrillator batteries. We're always updating those. We follow the state codes and everything. So
Okay.
everything that we need is accounted for in that budget.
So what you were saying about the rifles and things, even though they're not, quote, had to be used, but because they're going in and out of the car.
That's where the wear and tear
That's
comes
okay,
from.
okay.
So it's 3 times a day it moves. You gotta remember, so at the end of your shift, you gotta unload your car because if your car's not used for the next shift,
Okay,
and we're not leaving the rifles out there because we had the incident where they were stealing cars and they actually came to Monroe and stole cars.
okay.
And one of our town cars hit somebody at the Marlboro, Massachusetts street takeover in the ball. They have pictures of the car whipping around and it actually hits 2 people
People, okay,
with the car.
okay. So.
Another reason we wanted the gate in the back
gate,
too.
yeah.
That's why most police departments are.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
I don't want to say it out loud, but all the cars are all the same key.
It's
That's
just a no-brainer for security.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same key.
Yeah.
A non-budgetary question. Who uses the firing range on Garter Road?
So it used to be a lot of people. So when I was still here with John Salvatore, we put it, if you skipped a cycle, you didn't give us a new certificate of insurance, we cut you off. So currently it's us, Newtown, Westcon, and Stanford SWAT and our SWAT teams are the only teams using that, where it used to be Bridgeport, and it was everybody. So we've whittled it down and we don't take any new people on anymore.
I live next door to John.
Okay, yeah, that's right. You live at the end of Applegate, right?
Okay, yeah, when we moved here, nobody told us that was there.
And we were at, when you first moved here, we were probably shooting there 10 months a year. Yeah.
I'm up in the house and all of a sudden I hear.
Steve, my brain just put an AI video.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I mean, I knew what I was hearing and I was like, Oh, my God.
Yeah, so as we go into spring, you'll start hearing it picking up again probably next month. It should be quiet for the
Yeah,
past.
no, I know it's less. Yeah,
And you're still there, Steve.
yeah, 33 years later, we're still in the same house.
That's
No
hysterical.
matter how many they tried to drive us off.
Oh, my gosh.
Between that and the blasting from Grasso, that was the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that-
The other.
Anybody back then, I was probably a Bridgeport cop shooting them.
Yeah. When Bridgeport showed up, they showed up with hundreds of guys.
Oh, yeah.
So it was nonstop volleys for weeks.
It was crazy. And by, just going up the dirt road
So
part.
individuals can't go there.
No,
No, it's just.
there's very limited time that you're allowed to be there.
Mhm.
Because even at night, they used to shoot at night all the time too, because you gotta shoot, one of the requirements, you have to shoot in the dark.
Oh, wow.
So we do it in October every year, but, for you, all these other departments are doing night times too, so it was very inconvenient.
Yes.
It was
Every time I think of it now, I'm just gonna think of Steve shooting up that.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Too cheeky.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Okay. Have a good night.
Right.
Okay, so everybody got this document from Joe, which he went through questions that were asked at the budget workshop. And then he also provided some information regarding some of the roles and their costs associated with them. So I know we haven't had time to read through it, but.
So in here, and I guess Ron,
Rebecca, is there another copy of them?
Yeah, you can have.
yes,
Thank you.
so. Ron, I had asked, I had asked for the priorities list of the things that Joe had listed off and with the dollars, so is that what I'm seeing on page, well, it's not really on page 3.
Are they in
Those are the
order?
things not in his budget.
In his
that-
budget, that was-
Yes, that's
So
the
in
second.
priority
document.
sequence was the Massac High School Math Lab. And then the literacy lab, and then the night security. And well, obviously the full day pre-K, we can't do because we don't have space for it. And then the math specialist.
Yeah, I would say just go in order.
Yeah, and I don't believe those numbers are fully loaded numbers, so if it requires a full FTE, which I believe some of those do, we would have to project
All right,
insurance.
but this is sequential. But this is.
That is my
priority.
understanding, yes.
So this is an additional to the 1
So what you guys had asked,
Uh-huh.
I believe was
Absolutely.
in addition to what was in his original budget.
in his original budget.
This is like a blue sky budget.
Okay.
So like,
Yes.
if the sky was the limit,
Uh-huh.
what would you be throwing?
This is what
in?
it would be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't included in the
It
original.
wasn't
that was-
included in his, now they were department, I believe, all, if not the majority, were asks that were.
Right.
Well, most
That
of
didn't
them,
make
most
it
of
to
them
his
were
money.
were things that we had and have been removed.
Moved,
And
okay,
that's,
okay.
All of these were not even, from my understanding from our last meeting, were not even proposals to the Board of Ed.
correct,
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
This is outside of anything that was included in,
Right, Jim.
right?
But
Yeah,
you'd
the
like it.
superintendent never had these in his,
In his original
the
budget.
one that
right,
went to the
okay.
Board of Ed and.
But it would be nice to add them to
Right.
it if we could.
So
This is,
Is
yeah,
what he's
this is the
asking.
wish list of
Okay.
things.
This is for.
Oh.
This is Catherine's.
Fine. It
Well, no,
answers
your
my
question.
question.
Yes.
To answer your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
and I
which
said,
is a great thing.
and I said, prioritize it and cost it,
Yeah.
so that we can, if we
Figure it
want,
out.
have a conversation.
And he categorized them too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
all of these are things we had. And, as somebody who goes to Board of Ed meetings, I remember discussions, I remember them being added, I remember them being taken.
So So when they're referencing 4,000, the 75,000, I know the seed grant, these are already incorporated into our budget, right?
Yeah, so like grants get accounted for outside the general fund, so they're all
Right.
budget.
But they're in that page?
It depends if we knew we were gonna get it.
Okay.
So that page,
timing.
that
Yeah,
page
yeah,
that's
yeah.
in the Board of Ed budget, I would look at that as, this is what we're anticipating getting.
Really?
It's not like if we don't get one, we're not gonna
Okay.
use it, you know? It's. Yeah, it's more of an informational page.
Okay.
So I think we should amongst ourselves, individually, and maybe we can have a conversation about it as if and when we get the numbers, over the next 2 days. Over the next 2 meetings.
Yeah, so we have the 14th and the 16th next week.
The item that I had asked about was to see if we could get a draft of Frank's revised model.
Well,
Just take.
we each take.
I have one for you, Terry. There's only 5 for that.
Yeah, there's one for
Thank you,
each of us.
Frank.
Thank you.
We can discuss it in our regular meeting or whatever you want.
Thank you.
I think let's digest this.
Yeah, can you just give us a quick walkthrough, please?
Quick walkthrough, sure.
Yeah.
The scenario tries to pull together a rough estimate of where we're gonna start with interest rates. It provides a historical view of closing balances and then doing a calculation based on what the interest rate is at that time. The first column that you see is, okay, we're doing a starting point of 3.5%. Excuse me. And that stays flat. Based on what our balances are, and again, these are rough numbers.
Yeah.
You know, before I came in, basically Ron and I talked, and when I had to do my first one, I said, well, you know, Pat used to take the back of a napkin and kind of take a guess.
I know this.
So I
Very well done,
attempted to kind of put some sort of structure to it. So, you know, don't count this as exact. This is a good way of calculating something 18 months into the future, 15 months into the future. So the first one says, okay, we're not going to see any interest rate reductions. The second one says it's going to decline. It's going to decline with 2 rate cuts during the year. And this is based on the Fed. And again, our numbers aren't always based right on the Fed, but again, it's a guideline. The third column is 4 reductions during the course of the year. And again, we can look at where we are in previous years. We've tried to kind of take a midpoint between the blue and the green. You'll see all the background information in the notes below. The one that you should know is probably the last set, and that's the changes to the model since I gave the first selectman the initial input and what has changed today. The biggest thing was when I gave the first selectman I looked at a starting point of about 3.25% for the interest rate. And this one is 3.5 based on some of the historical information. I think that's probably pretty good. And then the closing balances as of yesterday, I got the most recent numbers for Chris. So again, the first year I did this, I just took a historical average and every month looked the same. Here's actually what we did month by month in terms of what our balances were. And you can see it includes the general fund, it includes what we have in STIF, what we have in Janny. And the other overview is if you looked at this, what we did for the first selectman did, we said about 1.7 million. And that was taking the low end of the scale. I think I mentioned that to you, Steve, the other night. My sense is you could probably get somewhere in between the green and the blue. And maybe come in at like 1.9, which would give you about a $200,000 increase in terms of revenue.
Over what's printed in the document.
Yeah, but again, we can discuss in more detail on the revenue note.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, may I make a comment? Sure. Thank you all, to all of you. This has been, I think, one of our best, most productive budget seasons.
Great.
And just, you know.
I really, Steve, we're like, yeah, we're not done.
We're not done.
I just want to acknowledge all of you for the work that you've done so far this year. So thank you.
A question, have you plugged in the 1.2 in the?
I did.
In the reduction for
I
insurance?
think, I know you're still sharing. So I guess the question is, so the two, and look, I'm just gonna ask it. The 250, I guess the 1.2, would that get stacked on top of the, would the 250 get stacked on top of it? I think not to put you guys on the spot, because I know you haven't decided yet, but I guess, or would the 250 reduce the?
They'll get stacked on top because with the superintendent's, assuming we accept what the superintendent, his mitigation, that takes us all the way back to his original projection, his original request.
So they would be stacked, so the 250 is already.
Is covered.
Is covered, is in the budget already.
Plus his mitigations.
The 400.
So that would, so the 250 would be no budget adjustment, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yes. I was wondering how to handle that, but yeah.
If the savings from
It's
the
applied.
insurance could be utilized to mitigate the adjustment, as opposed to
Yes,
reducing the
that's what his
1.2.
chart shows.
So and the reason it impacts this is it either reduces the $1.2 million increase or it just doesn't impact it at all. Does that make sense?
It does. My answer is to pull out his presentation spreadsheet, because that showed his request. It showed.
Some of those things were.
A different way for him to handle it. So we go back to his presentation.
And I
No, I mean, Ron, you're asking a question that I was going to ask you because I don't know how to. Yeah. Okay. I'll see what he's actually. Thank you. No. Okay, thanks. On 2 different pages. So on the first page of the presentation that had the spreadsheet like chart, right? It started with his request. Then it took off the 250 from the Board of Ed. Then it took off the 1,603,230 from the first selectman, leaving the balance of an increase of 2 million, which left the education system with a shortfall of 1,853,000. Then the revised lower insurance cost and the recommended adjustment of 1.2 was added back in, right? So it left a shortfall of 403,230.
Right, so the 250 is is, let's call it savings from the original budget. So if there's no adjustment made, that gives the Board of Ed the ability to utilize those funds for something other than health insurance.
So the 1.6 includes the 250. Or
No.
The 1.8, the 1450 includes the 250.
Oh, okay.
That it's basically looking at it as funds available for other things.
Yeah.
That's the way the superintendent.
Okay.
Right. So then. Yeah, so however you want to call that in right now, if we're not sure of how to put it in.
Well, so from a mill rate perspective, right now, it would be
0.1 million.
There would be no reason to add it back to the current budget as proposed, because it's savings that wasn't in that budget.
Okay.
Okay, so as long as the budget isn't reduced by that, it's there available for other things.
Reduce the municipal side's insurance by its portion of the overall, right? So it was 330 total.
So right now, I think the number on the town side was, I want to say 80. Remember the savings on that?
It was
the savings on health insurance due to the rate adjustment.
Yeah.
So
I think it was 330 total, of which 250 was the Board of Ed, and the difference was municipal.
What's that?
I said, we're talking savings. It's a 12.5%.
It's the saving 15 versus the 12. Yeah, I mean,
it's like the relief valve.
Yeah.
15%.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's
so. I mean, if you want to leave insurance aside and just put the 1.2 back in.
Yeah.
I can't.
You know, you have
we can do you want to wait to do that?
Maybe refresh brains.
You want me to stop sharing?
I'm just very confused at this point.
Let's try that.
Well, that's why I wanted her to put the two numbers in.
Okay.
Because the insurance expense went down overall by 333,000, and we put back 1.2 million into the education. So those are the two numbers, besides some of the miscellaneous stuff that we talked about, that have changed. Okay. So,
but has that 1.2 been put back?
No, not officially.
Not officially,
Okay.
but we agreed that we were in sync on doing that, so I wanted to see what the result was. Nothing is done until we vote on it and next Thursday.
Want to just speak to it?
So you want me to put 1.2 million in?
Yes. In education. And you can put a negative 330 something.
Yeah, so the mill rate is 30 point.
0.9.
Without I mean, I know what the mill rate without the insurance savings was.
Yeah.
It's 30.22.
So it goes up from that's
2967 or something.
29.78 to 30, just over 30.
30.09. Good enough for tonight.
Okay. Any other question?
Sorry, did I jump the gun?
No, you didn't.
What?
Motion to adjourn? Are we good?
I need a
Yeah,
second. Yeah.
I'm not sure who's making what.
I just have one question for all of you.
So I'm gonna keep recording, so
Oh, no, this has nothing to do with the budget.
if we're gonna speak,
So,
if we're gonna speak and we're all here,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
it'd be foiable, so we'll keep the meeting going. So can we unadjourn the meeting?
Motion to unadjourn.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Second.
What's,
Now, this had to do with, I cannot get emails from you guys unless I'm on my computer.
Okay.
Who do I need to talk to get it on my phone? My husband tried,
Of course, call me,
Of course.
called you tomorrow.
call me tomorrow. I'll set you up with Paul Course. We'll take care of it right away.
Okay, well, I think my husband tried to do that and,
Call me tomorrow.
okay,
I'll
sorry,
sign up.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
motion to adjourn.
No? It's easy. I have it on me.
We are adjourned.
Once you-
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. It is 8:59.